Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I also have a man who's wearing multiple caps today, here present. Is representing the chairman of the Majlis Sultan Column, Alhaj Abbas Adbaji Sahib, who is joining us online. But then also is the incoming Sadar Majlis Ahmadiyya Nigeria in person of Al-Hafiz Alaka Abdul Rafiq Sahib.
Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Inshallah, we have some other guests, especially our facilitators of programs who are joining us online. And at the time of their program, we are going to be introducing themselves. So now I would hand over the program to the chairman for the continuation of the program, sir.
I think you should do self-introduction for those who are here as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
People here are members of the Marriage and Services Column who have participated in the doings of the association throughout the year. You know, we have a lot of publications that we have done over the year. And with me, I have the honor of Mualim Teslim, who is joining us from here. Can you say Teslim? Mualim Teslim, Twin Teslim.
Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Also, I have Brother Abu Qadri, so who is the General Secretary of Majlis and Southern Column.
Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Okay, I also have Brother Farouk Oyekunle Sahib, who is also here.
Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Then have Hafiz Khalil Rahman Abimbala.
Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Okay, I also have the honor of having our movie Fayat Timeh inside.
Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. So my own name is Absalam Abdul Rafiq, also a member of the Majlis and Sultan Column. Jazakumullah khairan.
All right. Jazakallah khairan jaza for that introduction. So let's go straight to the program, which is starting with opening recitation from the Holy Quran by Hafiz Khalilur Rahman Abimbola Sahib. Bismillah.
Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله حق تقاته ولا تموتن إلا وأنتم مسلمون واعتصموا بحبل الله جميعا ولا تفرقوا واذكروا نعمة الله عليكم إذ كنتم أعداء فألف بين قلوبكم فأصبحتم بنعمته إخوانا وكنتم على شفا حفرة من النار فأنقذكم منها كذلك يبين الله آياته لعلكم تهتدون كذلك يبين الله لكم آياته لعلكم تهتدون ولتكن منكم أمة يدعون إلى الخير ويأمرون بالمعروف وينهون عن المنكر وأولئك هم المفلحون ولا تكونوا كالذين تفرقوا واختلفوا من بعد ما جاءهم البينات وأولئك لهم عذاب عظيم. Translation. In the name of Allah, the most gracious, ever merciful. O ye who believe, fear Allah as he should be feared, and let not death overtake you except when you are in the state of submission. And hold fast altogether by the rope of Allah and be not divided. And remember the favor of Allah, which he bestowed upon you when you were enemies, and he united your hearts in love, so that by his grace you become as brothers, and you were on the brink of a pit of fire, and he saved you from it. Thus, Allah explained to you his commandments that you may be guided. And let there be among you a body of men who should invite to goodness, and enjoin equity and forbid evil. And it is they who shall prosper. And be not like those who became divided and who disagreed among themselves, after clear proofs had come to them. And it is they for whom there shall be a great punishment. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Jazakallah khairan jaza. May Allah accept it for us as an act of dua. So the next item is the MASQ chairman's welcome address. That is supposed to be by Malam Abbas Agbaji, but which is going to be taken by our new or incoming Sadar Majlis Sudamul Ahmadiyya Al-Hafiz Alaka Abdul Rafiq Saab. Bismillah.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Respected Amir Sahib, Ahmadiyya Muslim Jamaat of Nigeria, respected Naib Amir, Finance and Administration, Ahmadiyya Muslim Jamaat of Nigeria, respected General Secretary, Ahmadiyya Muslim Jamaat of Nigeria, respected members of Majlis Ansar Sultan Al-Qalam here present, and those who are joining us virtually, members of Majlis Qudam Ahmadiyya who are also following us online, members of Lajna Imaila, because we have some of them who have also registered their interest in being part of this program. Brothers and sisters in faith, I say Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
On behalf of the respected Chairman, Majlis Ansar Sultan Al-Qalam, Muallim Abbas Abaji Sahib, I want to humbly, as the Vice Chairman of Majlis Ansar Sultan Al-Qalam and also the Chairman Planning Committee of this event, I want to humbly welcome every one of us to this August occasion. It's actually going to be a two-edged sword. We are having a writing workshop which shall hold today, and also by tomorrow we'll have a MASQ conference, the annual conference. So that's why I say it's going to be a two-edged sword. It was the Prophet alayhi salam on whom that title, Sultan al-Qalam, was conferred by Allah the Almighty, which means the king of the pen. So he was the king of the pen, Sultan al-Qalam. And in order to encourage members, especially youths, to also imbibe that attitude of writing just to defend Islam, that was why Azra Muslim Mahud anhu founded Majlis Ansar Sultan al-Qalam and also put it under the office of the Sadar Majlis Qudam. so that we have young minds who will write with their pen to defend Islam. So we have gathered here just to show, should I call it solidarity, or just to continue the mission, yes, of the Prophet Muhammad in defending Islam with his sword. So that is the reason why we have gathered here. And we must humbly beseech Allah the Almighty to bless every effort that we are able to make in this regard. So once again, on behalf of the chairman side, I want to welcome us and also implore us to stay tuned to the program, ensure that we take part actively in all the sessions that we'll be having between today and tomorrow, so that we can take maximum benefits of the program. Once again, respected Amir Sahib, we want to say Jazakumullah khairan for deeming it fit to be part of this engagement, and we pray that may Allah the Almighty continue to lighten your path. Jazakumullah khairan. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Jazakallah khairan jaza. Respected Al-Hafiz Alaka Rafiq Saab for that welcome address. So the next item is the chairman's opening speech, which I'm going to take very briefly. Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah wa ashhadu anna sayyidana Muhammadan abduhu wa rasuluhu, amma ba'd. A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. The respected Naib Amir Finance and Admin, respected GSAP, respected chairman of the program and the incoming Sadar Majlis Udamul Ahmadiyya, all members of Sultan al-Qalam, I say to all of us, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuhu. We thank Almighty Allah for giving us the opportunity of holding this year's Muslim Writers Guild of Nigeria, which means the Sultan al-Qalam, and which has been aptly introduced by our incoming Sadar Sab. So, as we know that writing skills is a skill, and you don't just pick pen and start writing, especially nowadays. If you pick any textbook, you must be able to know who, wrote the book before you even look at who the author is. And the moment you also know the author, you should know the way he will write. So I believe that you have been holding series of programs, among yourself. This is one of a very tool of jihad or of tabligh that the Jamaat has. As Hafiz Abbas rightly mentioned, the promised Messiah, alayhi salatu wasalam, was given that title by Almighty Allah, which we are now to demonstrate. Communication significantly has about 4 parts. The first one is listening to a language and understanding the language. Just being able to listen. You may hear some language, you may not be able to speak it. The second one is speaking of a language. You may be able to speak a language, because you understand the language and you can speak it. Again, you may be able to read a language. You may not understand it. You just read it. For instance, if you memorize the Holy Quran, you memorize the Arabic, you can read it very well, but you may not even understand unless you understand. And the last one is actually writing, which is to be able to understand the language, be able to write the language, be able to read the language, and be able to explain the language. So the promised Messiah was given the 4. It's so uncommon, but the promised Messiah, alayhi salatu wasalam, was given the 4. So this association, if I want to say within the Jamaat, you have a very long way to go. I will not deceive. The reason is that what you need to write right now are many. and you need to work with the Tasnif office of the Jamaat. We have Tasnif office there now. And this Tasnif office we started when Maulana Muniruddin Shamsab came to Nigeria, and he challenged us. Don't you have those people who can interpret world crisis and pathway to peace, to Yoruba language, to Hausa language, and to Igbo language? And we started scratching our head. I said, we have guilds of, it's like, yes, the authors, the writers. I said, we have writers, but we are struggling to identify who exactly, will be able to do this work. So the work is there. Interpretation of the Holy Quran, that's writing from, Arabic to English. Of course, that is done at Marcus level. But to Yoruba, we have still not completed it for almost 2 years. It's writing. I must acknowledge respected missionaries who worked in after the introduction of members. So missionary nephew Abdul Salam Saab, he has been working very hard on it, but he has a lot of work to do. So whereas you who are experts on this subject matter need to come very closer to take up these assignments, and let's see how we deliver on them within a short period. We've been on Yoruba over years. We've not been able to complete. We've been on Hausa, review of the Holy Quran in Hausa. It has already been done before. Yoruba has been done before. Hausa has been done before. Igbo has been done before. Esako has been done before. So it's your job. That is your job, because you cannot be in a vacuum that we are just an association. So what are we doing? So you have major roles to play. Maulana Muniruddin Shamsab also said that, you have to interpret a whole lot of Marcus books into local language. Some has already been interpreted in the past, as we know. But those that were interpreted in the past were interpreted by people who did not study with utmost respect the science of the language and how writings have been done. But they've done their best, as at that time. So this is now the time for experts to review those things, and let's come up with, a standard version of those pamphlets. So you have a whole lot of assignments, to do. I am very much aware that writing is a skill. And when I look at textbooks nowadays, when we go for seminar and I look at textbooks and I look at the author, if I know the author, I will say this textbook, I cannot buy it because it doesn't have a writing skill. It's just talking. It's not, well structured as an author should write. None of our books should be like that. How did I get to know more about writing skill? Was when I was doing my LLB, and during my project days, our lecturer, who is a lady that is supervising my one of my courses. So they gave us I chose a topic, and I said, this is what I want to write on. She looked at it, she said, it's fine, it's okay. So before you write there, you must tie it to some textbooks, which they can really verify that you understand. So I went to the library. She said I should bring the textbook I want to write on. I went to the library. There was a book which I so much like, and I picked that textbook. I took it to her. Immediately I gave her that textbook. It's a law of thought, because what I was doing really was taxation, and it was, on a strict liability offense. So, and I look at that book, it's a strict liability textbook. From beginning to the book is as voluminous as this. So when I pick that, and I like, sub-discussion of that law of thought, that's just only one subject, but very, very voluminous. Immediately I gave the textbook to her. She said, no, Aziz, sorry, this is not an academic textbook. This is not a textbook you should write on. I was like, It's in the library, and there are so many books in the library. So you are saying this is not an academic? We are in the university, and it's in the library. Sorry, okay, ma. Can you please explain to me what type of book is this one? She said, this is the book of a professional. This is not academic textbook. I said, so what is the difference between academic textbook and professional textbook? If you can explain. I still don't understand. I understand the difference between academics and professionals. I know somebody who is a banker, for example, who is a chartered accountant, who is a lawyer, medicine. These are professionals. Academics are doctorate degree holders and PhD, and in their various areas of call. Those are academics. I know them very well. Professors, different professors on different subject matter are academics. So why are you saying I cannot choose this book? He said these are for professionals. Just leave those ones there to make money. Just leave them. Their writing is just in certain way. I then say, okay, now I want to learn. Tell me. So when I go back to the library, when I pick a textbook, I will know this textbook is written by an academics or is written by a professional. And sometimes we also have an academics in practice. Somebody can be an SAN, and he can also be a prof. So who do I categorize him to be when I see his book? Because an SAN is a professional. He's a professor, and a professor of law is an academics. So he's wearing two caps. So if he writes a textbook, where do I place it? He said, okay, fine. Now, let me explain. Do you now explain to me? He said, you can see this textbook. It's only one topic. So that means he's a professional. A professional should never write like an academics. When academics writes, he is not going to write on only one subject. He will write on different subjects of law. So with that one, you will know that this one is an academic textbook. So I went back to the library, truly. So I was able to select some of the textbooks. She mentioned some of them. I selected them. I look at them truly. And then I look at those individuals. I saw they were lecturers. They were prof. They were doctors. He said the way they write, you will never see them writing on only one subject. I said, okay. So he said, everybody, when you see their textbooks, you should be able to know that this one is a practitioner, and this one is a professional, this one is an academics, and so on and so forth. So that is why I'm saying like Islamic writing, which is like the writing of the Promised Messiah, Allah has given him special gifts, which he has demonstrated. And even now, when those of you who are experts now start analyzing, you will now see that, oh, wow, even though there was no this expertise in those days, the expertise were demonstrated in those books. That is why I said I am very interested in this association, because you have a lot to do, and that's what's going to raise our standard and goes to support the Talim and support the Tabligh activities, of the Jamaat. So once again, if I have to start talking, I will probably deliver almost the equal lecture that you have given the lecturer, because this association, I so much look forward to, to your delivery, to your performance so much, to assist the Nigerian Jamaat. And in one way or the other, you are also contributing to the global Jamaat altogether. In fact, America has a very high expectation from Nigeria, which you have to sit down and plan and be of a very great assistance. I've listed some of the challenges we have, which I want you to deliberate on. I'm very happy. Sarah Sabah mentioned the issue of workshop. So please, in your workshop, it may not be part of your agenda. Apologies for that. I'm adding to it. If you can look at how missionary service also here, how we conclude this Yoruba interpretation. We don't mind. Cost is not our problem. The problem is who are the people to sit down and write and finish. They don't have sufficient time. They've tried. I think they've gotten to certain percentage in the Yoruba one. But the other ones, we are still far. And even in the Yoruba one, we have so many literatures that, we are supposed to interpret into various languages. which Marcus is interested. And so payment for it is not really the problem. No, payment for it is not the problem. If we have people, we need to camp them here for them to finish the job based on the time, that they have as students or as, workers, wherever they are, if they are freelance or something like that. I think it's something that we can look into. So once again, may Almighty Allah continue to strengthen each and every one of you and increase you in knowledge and provide for you in abundance to be able to render excellent services to the Jamaat, to Islam, and to humanity as a whole. Jazakallah khairan jaza. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh. Barakallahu fi. So the next item are the guest remarks. So I'm going to humbly invite the respected Naib Amir Finance and Admin to give his remarks.
Respected Amir Saabs, General Secretary, my brothers and sisters, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
I'm happy to be here. And I'm also happy with this program. This program is very, very important. Very, very important. And I'll tell you why it is important. I'm happy the way Amir Sabas, started by making reference to what happened, in the class. The Amir Sir used to say from time to time that this time around, nobody is fighting war with sword. And but the sword is the qalam, the pen. We use the pen to send the message across. And in sending the message across to people, there is need for us to really identify the audience whom you are addressing. Are you writing a book that will go all over the world? Or are you writing a book to satisfy a particular section of people or religion? It is very important to take note of that and now decide to use the kind of words that will make people to really appreciate your work. I have read many of Jamal's books. I didn't have any issue. When I pick one, I will just continue to read like that until I finish reading. I was traveling one day, I saw a book at the airport, not Jamal's book, and I picked it. I started reading, and I did not stop. I got to the hotel. I just managed to eat. I didn't, so I continued to read until I finished that book. I will tell you why. The English language used in that book makes it very easy for me to read. In those days, when I pick Wole Soyinka's book, I would just read a few lines and just drop it. Because he will be using all this big grammar that will be sending me to dictionary. I will just drop it. And there's no book of Chief Obafemi Awolowo. I highly there's any of his book that I've not read. When I pick one, I will just continue to read. So there's need for you to really identify your audience. Are you writing a book that will go international, or are you writing a speech for a particular audience? So it is very, very important that we know that. I have just made reference to Jamal's book, Philosophy of the Teaching of Islam. You just pick it, you just continue to read, you enjoy it, and many books like that in the Jamaat. So you guys, as are also coming up, don't take the position of, I must distinguish myself with my own language. It means, your book is for you alone. It's not for the generality of the people. I don't know whether you understand what I'm saying.
Very well.
It is very, very important that we take note of this. So let me not take our time. Once again, I thank you all for organizing this
Mm.
program. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala reward you abundantly.
Amen. Barakallah fi Jazakallah khairan jazaa, respected Naib Amir, finance and admin. So that's another excellent dimension that whatever you will be writing now from religious perspective, because I didn't even mention the religious perspective. I only mentioned those academic and professor and this and that. So religious is another one. We are not fictions. We are not doing fictions. You know, fiction is another one. Those who write fiction books, well, you also the children would like to read a lot of those ones with cartoon and all those kind of things. So our own is a very serious one, but also could be very interesting, which is a religious perspective, a wider audience, you know, to enjoy the writing. That's another one. Jazakallah khairan jazaa. So respected GSR, please your comment. Who do we have online that join us there? You have Sada Sab. Okay. And Brother Agbaje is coming to speak later, right? Is he joining or is not joining at all? God, I still see session 2. You might be able to join, or is you that will deliver the second? Somebody is presenting that. Okay, but is he online? Okay, so he can also make a comment after GSF.
Respected Alpha Sahib, very distinguished, respected Alpha Sahib, Majlis Kudam Ramadan, Nigeria, respected members of Majlis Ansar Sultan Kolam, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Well, I just have one or very few words. Number one is to commend our members of Majlis Ansar Sultan Kolam. I'm aware they've started Majlis Ansar Sultan Kolam in Nigeria since for some years now. And one of the challenge I am aware Majlis Ansar Sultan Kolam has is membership. People are not willing to join, to be part of Majlis Ansar Sultan Kolam for reasons that are not far-fetched. And one of those reasons that I know is that many of our young ones are not willing to dedicate to writing these days. Of course, we may not have too many people to be in this kind of organization because it's a very tasking and challenging line to be. But I do know that for those of us who are there, like respected Ahmed Sahib and respected Nara Sahib, as I earlier said, we are like a king in society because writers influence societal decision. They influence public policy. They shaped public opinion. When you are a good writer, like Baba just talked about Obafemi Awolowo now. He wrote some books. There is hardly one of those books that you will pick and you will wish to drop. He has talked about philosophy of the teachings of Islam too. If you take it, even if you are a Christian, you take it, it will expose you to so many things. So the course of this course of action that we have taken, particularly to be among the writers, the people that will promote the work of the Jamaat, of the Prophet Messiah and the likes. We have so many tasks on our table. We have so many things to do. I think it is I've mentioned a challenge when I started that there are so many of our young ones who are not willing to join. We need to do more to find a way to assist them, to encourage them to streamline means of writing for young ones, to let them see the good things in being a writer. Of course, many of and to the glory of God, publications these days have become so seamless. You can pick something now, write something good, paste on your social media. From there, on all social media, and from there you drive membership. Or people will start following you. When they start following you, with utmost respect, our incoming Sarah Kudamiza, his page is always a big page. When you want to read
when you want to read, if anybody attack the Jamaat, within very short time, you will see a response from his page. And people will know that whatever response you will see from his page is a response that is well loaded and that will speak to facts. So, and we, as a Jamaat, we need so many to be like that. So that is one challenge, and that is one task that is on the table of Mike and Sultan Column today. To one, of course, the first challenge I highlighted is that we do not have so many people that want to be members because they know the task that are involved. So the onus lies on us as members of this writer guild to find a means, all means, to ensure that we draw attention of our young ones in the university, in the polytechnic, in tertiary institutions, to see the beauties in writing. That, oh, you are at least, but when you belong to a group like this, when you are a writer, not only for Jamaat purposes only, but for the larger society, you become one of the people that shapes the ways and manners society sees things. So, and I know from there, we have a pool of scholars in the Jamaat who will be willing to write at every point when they see things, and they will be motivated to go and write and draw a lot of interest into reading and then be part of the Jamaat. So may Allah continue to assist us. May He continue to strengthen us, and may He provide for us to be able to deliver the honors task that is lying on us. Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Jazakallah khairan jaza for encouraging more members and especially our youth to join. I didn't know Sarah Saab was online, so Jazakallah for drawing my attention to that. So we welcome respected Sadar Majlis Udam Ahmadiyya to this program. So please, can you unmute yourself and make your comment? Okay, is it not online?
Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, sir.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, sir.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Bismillah, Sadar Saab.
Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, sir.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Are you not hearing us?
I can hear you, sir. Respected Ami, sir. I unmuted. Okay, sir.
Yeah, so I want you to make your...
I just unmuted, sir.
Yeah, guest remarks.
Okay,
I want you
sir.
to make your guest remarks. Have you been hearing us? I didn't know when you joined.
Yes. I joined while you were speaking. I joined while you were speaking, sir. So,
okay, we are taking guest remarks. So we've taken 2 comments here, and I said you should also make your opening remarks to our writers.
Oh, okay, sir. All right, sir. Jazakumullah khairan. Respected Ami Sab, respected Nava Sab, respected GS Sab, and respected Chairman Majlis Ansar Sultan Kolam, and all other honorary members and the members of Majlis Ansar Sultan Kolam. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. We give all glory to Allah the Almighty, the Lord of all worlds, who blessed mankind with the gift of knowledge, reflection, and expression. Alhamdulillah for the opportunity Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala has given us to witness another conference this time around. We sincerely appreciate the presence of respected Ami Sab and respected Nava Sab and the GS Sab for being part of this engagement today. In order to be very brief, let me start by saying that the very first command Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala revealed to the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam is Iqra bismi rabbika alladhi khalaq. As we all know in Surah Al-Alaq, Quran chapter 96, verse 2, where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, read in the name of thy Lord who created. This divine command ignited the light of literacy and scholarship, and definitely it gave a thought that transformed nation and uplifted civilization till today and till the world will come to an end. And it actually shows that learning and writing in the name of Allah the Almighty are sacred acts of worship, and they are powerful tools for spiritual and moral reformation. As we gather, inshallah, for this annual conference for the MASQ Economic Writing Workshop, and we continue that the noble legacy that Sayyidina Muhammad alayhi salam had laid down, as we are also expected to continue as jihad of the pen to defend the truth, to spread knowledge and inspire humanity through words guided by faith. We should recall that the Promised Messiah alayhi salam, the Azabasim told us that our jihad is not with the sword but with the pen, with prayers and with propagation of truth. So when we look at the age that we are in now, it is an age of confusion, it's an age of distortion, it's an age of misinformation, it's an age where the world desperately needs writers who think deeply, who research carefully and write with integrity. And I believe as for us as Ahmadis, our writings must not be guided by emotion alone, but by facts and divine wisdom, which means that we will be writing with the insight guidance from the Quran, the authentic saying of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, the teachings of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and the guidance of the Khulafat Ahmadiyya. So we must ensure that we use our pens to clarify misconceptions, educate minds, and bring balance to discussions on contemporary issues, be it in faith, be it on morality, be it on governance, be it on youth culture, be it on technology, and what have you. And we must always reflect the beauty and truth of Islam. Beloved brothers, let us also be reminded that as a Khalifatul Masih has repeatedly reminded us that every Ahmadi writer should become a source of guidance to others, presenting teachings of Islam with reason, love, and conviction. I want to say that to all members of MASQ Sultan Kolam, your pen is a trust. Your pen is an amana. You must use it to defend justice. You must use it to inspire compassion. You must use it to correct falsehood and to strengthen the faith. And let your writings be informed by knowledge, refined by humility, and illuminated by spirituality. Let your essays and articles address the pressing issues of our time with the voice of the truth. Let your poetry revive hearts and your reflections heal divisions that we may have in Islam. I've seen respected Amisa when he goes out, especially when he meets Islamic scholars. Respected Amisa will be mentioning to the scholars the need for us to come as one, as a single entity, so that the divisions in Islam, as we're experiencing in Nigeria and some part of the world, will be killed. And this is one of the things. If Amir Saab is going out to say all of this as our leader, as the representative of the Khalifatul Masih in Nigeria, that also means that we must toe that line in our writings and ensuring that whatever we write is in the favor of the vision of the Azam Masih Mahmoud alayhi salam and our leaders. And I believe for when young Muslims write with understanding and divine guidance, they do not merely inform, they transform the society. So I believe we would begin this weekend in a very inspiring way to learning from creative writing to digital storytelling. And I pray that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will make our pens instruments of light and wisdom and make our words build bridges of understanding and become a means of peace and guidance to reform. I pray that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will help us to become humble and understanding servants of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Let me wrap up by saying that it's always amazing to see a very low number of attendance when it comes to academic or anything about knowledge. And then I've observed this so many times, and we've continually spoken to the members of the Majlis Kudam and the youth, and that they should prioritize knowledge, because two things are very important. The knowledge that we acquire as a person, if we want to truly follow and exemplify the teachings of the Prophet Sallallahu, we need to acquire knowledge, and then we need to have quality moral. And then those two things are very important in an effort to engaging in tabligh. If you do not have anything upstairs to guide, protect your belief in the Prophet Sallallahu, and you don't have quality morality to support that you have done, then it's of no value for you to tell me that you are a follower of the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. That's what Rasulullah Sallallahu said. ليس الإيمان بتمنى ولكن ما وقر في القلب وصدق بالعمل. It is not enough to say I am a believer, except that belief is what you hold dear to your heart, and you now use quality deeds, rightful deeds, to turn those things, that belief, to a truth action. So it is important that we continue to remind our youth to be part of sessions like this. When I joined and I saw 30, 29, I was very sad. And I know Malam Abbas, who the immediate past chairman, Column, or he's still chairman anyway, he will be rounding over by October 30. I've had discussions with him that I do not know why members, the youth specifically, are not always joining academic engagement like this. Things that can liberate our minds and thoughts, and that can actually shape us better to becoming true followers of the Prime Minister. I pray that inshallah, Allah SWT will lighten the hearts of the youth to know the right thing and always follow, inshallah. Once again, Jazakumullah khairan azam jaza to our respected Amir Saab for being part of this sacred effort. And may Allah SWT make this conference a blessed one and enable Majlis and South Sultan Column to continue leading the jihad of the pen with excellence, faith, and scholarship. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Jazakallah khairan jaza, respected Sadar Saab, for all that you have said. Very, very useful in terms of the need that our own writing, our speech, our actions are to clarify issues, not to, unnecessarily project ourselves. It should be a source of guidance. It's very important that we focus on everything that we will do, not to attack anyone. But the one you said last, which corroborated what the respected GS said, was why people don't, why people are not interested in writing. I think we will need to emphasize that for the youths. Maybe a number of people might think that there have been a lot of writings and it's not really making any impact in Nigeria or something. Some people might really be discouraged to write, because I remember one of the international writer of Nigeria who was given the highest award that anyone can have in Nigeria, other than the president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. He was a writer. He turned down the award. He said he doesn't want GCON that was given to him. So what is the essence? I've been writing, and it doesn't make any impact on you. So why should I write, and why should I talk to you, and why should I even accept your GCON? I don't need it. That is a Professor Chinua Achebe. He refused it in 2014. He said, I don't want. So, but one thing is, for us, is different. It's different. It's a bit similar, but it's different. Our own, we are writing to provide guidance to human being in the way of Allah. And if you look at the books in the UK, US, in the advanced environment, the lifespan of books there, it varies, but it's between 2 and 3 years, especially when it is a professional book. After 3 years, that book is stale. you have to write another one. For instance, when you write, maybe especially in some current courses like banking, taxation and all those kind of things, within 2 years, the book has stale. You can't refer to it again because the law has been changed. The law of taxation changes every year. So every 2 years, you listen to the National Assembly. When they do the budget, they change the rate, they do this, they do that, they exempt this, they include that. So you have to write. So those who are thinking that writing is not rewarding probably do not understand. It is for the benefit of humanity in the first instance. And again, it is also important that people will know that when we want to talk about this subject matter, let us look for this person. We will see what he's talking about. As we know that things keep on changing, online as well. So even if you have a textbook in the next 3 years, you yourself will know that this textbook needs a revision. That is why when you buy books there, you see, they will say, like I remember the last tax code that I bought, maybe 16, 17 or something. So there will be 18, 19, 20, 21, every 2 years they keep on writing. So the youth need to know that there is a whole lot of benefits, in writing, and they will be known by what they have written. Even those of us who are not, who are professionals, who are not writing, that big textbooks, most people will say, I saw what you wrote online, taxation of this, taxation of that, and that's how I got to know you. I'll just enter some committee, they will say, we know the way you look at issues. It's just because of those small writings, that we have done. So it is very beneficial. Spiritually, it's beneficial because you'll be getting the reward by everybody that read the book. Because you are guiding them, just as Sadar Sahab had said, you are providing guidance for them in the way of Allah. So I think that is an aspect that we need to take very serious on how we will encourage the youth. Don't let us say because somebody said, I've been doing drama books, I've been doing a whole lot of books for the guidance of the country, yet you people are not listening. As I said yesterday, Uzur said in the Friday sermon, about the continuous life of the Holy Prophet ﷺ to the end of the day. Those challenges that people are not listening to you, you have to continue. You cannot, if you take yourself aside, world will continue, and those challenges will continue without you. So the best thing is for us to be part of those challenges and be attempting to correct those challenges until we leave it at a point where Allah said, you've done your own, leave the rest for me. He has created these challenges to the end the world will end. There is not going to be any year that challenges is going to end. Not for individual, not for association. It's not going to be possible. So why will people be discouraged? They shouldn't be discouraged. I think we should find a way of bringing so many people, into the writing, as I said. So many Ansarullah, I think it has to be mentioned in the Ansarullah workshops. It has to be mentioned in the Hudam workshop. It has to be mentioned in the Lajna workshop, especially the young Lajnas to also write. I know a lot of young Lajnas are professors, doctors and this and that. So let us see how we need to tell other Lajna Cyber to make this as important thing. I remember in the whole of the northern Nigeria, for example, there is only one woman that wrote a book that even whether male or female in the north did not do. That was Mrs. Maishano, Mrs. Maishano, Aisha Maishano. She's the only one that wrote a book that everybody is asking for about the Jamaat. So why will people not see that it's important? And she's translated many, you will see her name there. So this is the person that people have to emulate. I respect her a lot. So let us find a way of encouraging her. Maybe they didn't see the benefit. It's not very, I will write and they may not even read it. No, write your own and find a way of even putting it on maybe Amazon or whatever you want to put it. And then you make sure that it goes very wide. Or if it is free, find a way of sharing it, and people will also, see it. So I want us to be encouraged to promote the morale, which the Sadar Sahab really mentioned. So Jazakallah khairan, Jazak, respected Sadar Sahab. Yes, brother Abbas Agbaji, can you make your comments before we continue from here?
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, Amir Sab.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Jazakumullah khairan ahsan al-jaza for your gracious support at all times. Unfortunately, due to ill health, I'm not able to join physically, but I plan to be around tomorrow, inshallah.
Inshallah.
Respected Amir Sab, respected Naib Amir, Finance and Administration, respected GS Sab, respected Pa Shubo Ede Sab, respected members of Majlis Ansar Sultan al-Kalam, respected Sadar Majlis Qudam al-Ahmadiyya, respected members of Majlis Sultan al-Kalam. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
It is indeed another memorable year for us to convene this annual writing workshop and conference of Majlis Ansar Sultan al-Kalam. I have listened intently to all the excellent speeches made by the Amir Sab, Naib Amir Sab, the GS Sab, the Sadar Sab. Indeed, these are full of wisdom, and I just want to, state that if we follow all of these guidance provided by these elders, we will be better off. GS Sab, it is as though you've seen what's on my mind in terms of how we should encourage our people to, participate more in MASQ activities. Amir Sab, especially last year, we mentioned to the missionary in charge, Sab, that we expect that missionaries should be one of the core stakeholders of Majlis Ansar Sultan al-Kalam, because this is, one of the platform to further enrich their tabligh activities in the literary form. And so this is one area that we wish that we'll see a lot of improvement. And the membership of Majlis Ansar Sultan is composed of three. We have the full regular members who are typically members of Majlis Qudam al-Ahmadiyya. Then we have the honorary members who are no longer, fit to be full members because of age. And these are typically people who are in the midst of the Ansarullah. And that is why we have one of our fathers seated in person of Pashobo Ede, who has been an excellent source of support as honorary member. We have others like Barrister Bashiruddin Badru. We have others like Mualim Kosi Moyekola. We have others such as our respected former Sadar, Comrade Abdul Qadri Abdul Rafi. So we have a lot of these members who serve as honorary members, providing support in one way or the other, including also supporting us with our annual dues. Our annual due is just 2,000 naira, but we still struggle to get annual dues from members. And so we didn't want to increase it because we think maybe this is also going to be a barrier for some people to say, oh, they are even paying annual dues, right? But all of this is they are just effort for us to do things to continue to promote the banner of the teachings of the promised Messiah, alayhi salatu wassalam. We've seen some growth. In fact, quite recently, we've seen a lot of interest from some of the young learners who are now writing articles published under the auspices of MASQ. And to this effect, in fact, just as we started a couple of years back, by tomorrow, inshallah, we intend to give awards to people who have excelled in terms of their contribution to writing poetry, to writing articles. So inshallah, we'll be giving these awards tomorrow during the conference proceedings. So we take the challenge on, Amir Sab. We've heard you, we've listened to you about the challenge of interpretation of various books of the Jamaat. I'm saying we've taken it on behalf of the new chair of MASQ, who is incoming. just as we're having the incoming Sadar Sahab Majlis Sudan Al Ahmadiyya, we have a new incoming chairman, MASQ, as I will be exiting the stage to join the fold of the health elders. So we have Mualim Sulaiman Taslim, who is seated in the same room as you, sir, who has emerged as the newly elected chair of Majlis Ansar Sultan Al Qalam. And I'm happy he's a missionary, so he will do that work to encourage other colleagues to join the fold of MASQ. And I believe that is someone who I respect a lot. He's shown a lot of dedication. Before now, he was the head of the rapid response team within MASQ. And a few weeks back, we held a Twitter space where we discussed issues of murder in Islam. Just to clarify a lot of misconceptions around apostasy and murder in Islam. And I feel that Allah will guide him to discharge this trust in a most responsible manner. So we want to thank everyone, especially Amir Saab, for your support. We don't know whether you will have time tomorrow to join us at the conference proceeding, where we'll be presenting awards as well. And we have a keynote speech by our respected VC of Minaret University International, Professor Abdurrahman Saab. But just to mention that as a token of gesture and gratitude, we have a small gift in terms of our branded T-shirt of MASQ for Amir Saab, Nafa Saab, and the GS Saab. The team will, confer with you to know which side is appropriate. And if you're not able to join tomorrow, we can do the presentation tomorrow. Now that we have respected incoming Sadar Saab, Hafiz Alaka Saab, and the team in the room with you, so they can take pictures. So thank you so much, sir, Amir Saab, for your support. Sadar Saab, I feel like Sadar Majlis Kudam Saab, I feel like you've given your speech, which is meant for tomorrow today. Maybe you need to prepare another speech, because today is the writing workshop, tomorrow is the conference. So I will look forward to the speech tomorrow as well. Jazakumullah khairan to everyone. Mualim Nafi Abdul Salam Saab, I recall that we had discussed some of the things Amir mentioned in terms of translation, where we talked about having some work done in Yoruba, Hausa, and the like. You remember that I discussed this with you, so I believe that Mualim Taslim Saab will carry on that conversation as he takes on the mantle from November 1st, inshallah. So Jazakumullah khairan to everyone on top on the call today. We look forward to your continued participation and support of Majlis Ansar Sultan Al-Qalam. Jazakumullah khairan. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Jazakallah khairan jaza, respected chairman of the association. May Allah continue to give you very good health and continue to bless you. Jazakallah khairan. Inshallah, Aziz, I will be here tomorrow. I already planned for the 2 days because I take this as being very important. There are some visitations we are to do this weekend. We are saying, no, this is very important. You can't leave this on and start going up and down. So I will be here tomorrow, inshallah, Aziz. Let me most humbly welcome our respected Uncle T.O. Shoboye Desab. We welcome you to this session. I also welcome the Lajna that is present here and those that are online. You are most welcome. And so I have also noted your comments, which I also discussed with the missionary in charge in terms of the missionaries taking significant lead in this association is very important, because that's the work of the promised Messiah, alayhi salatu wasalam, as we know, and the Hulafa. So if we look at the work that the current Uzur is doing, by the time that book is compiled, only Allah knows how many volumes is going to be since the 15th of December 2017, all Friday. By the time that book will come up, it has to be like this, and it has to be authoritative reference book. And it's going to be very helpful to us, those of us who are very interested in Islamic history. Because everything that happened nowadays, I just look at one story at that time or the other to just replicate. So Jazakallah khairan jaza, respected chairman, and welcome missionary Taslim Saab. Also, may Almighty Allah be your helper and then take this association forward with His mercy. I mean, so Jazakallah khairan jaza. I think I don't think we have any other person online. Yes, Uncle Sab, please, your comments.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Respected Amisa, without much ado, I'm very sorry. I have to take the apology for coming late, although I've joined online while I was at the Shura there. I'm very happy to be part of this organization. And in fact, when it started, we didn't really understand it. And that was why when it came to the Amis office then, they just picked 5 of us. Two members of Nodhudam, 3 members of Ansarullah. Before another letter came that the association actually belonged to Kudam. And that was why it was reconstituted. But then the heads just felt we should be there, and we have been moving together. I made a suggestion which I want to repeat here. Sometimes because people see writing as a walking stick, and nobody wants walking stick now. Everybody wants clutches, on which they can rest. But writing is a walking stick, so that you can use it just to support your legs. But if you want to use it as clutches, you will crash. So I suggested that even the MASQ itself needs to maybe think of a sort of maybe bulletin where some of these the writings we published annually, biannually, or even as maybe feasible. That encourages some writers also, because if you write and you're not such an like my new incoming starter who is very good online writer, not everybody is that good in online writing. For me, I believe in hard copy. Yes, I believe in hard copy. Yesterday, about 2 weeks, last week, I just read a book published by Lajna Central, The History of Lajna. It was a sort of extract and with some addition from Tariq Lajna Imaila. It's about 324 pages, which I just read last week. You will think it's for Lajna. It's for everybody. The problem of people not writing is because they don't read. If you don't read, you are always not encouraged to write, because it is only by reading that you are challenged. You feel I should respond to this. I should also do. Or if you don't respond by writing, you respond by behaving along the what you have read. So if we have, I'm very happy the desk missionary for the truth is here. The truth also should be able to help. The truth is not only for members. In those days, those normalities who were reading the truth always ask for it. Or every Friday they ask, the truth has not come out. If it comes out regularly, and maybe 2 or 3 members of the MASQ, especially those in translation department, can translate some of these things and make sure it comes out every time, non-normalists will benefit from it, apart from members also benefit from it. Now, for instance, you see, the book I talked about now, Lajna, History of Lajna, was published in 2023. Tariq Lajna was published more than 3 decades ago. They just kind of refreshed it and modernized it and put some modern things into it. And it made a very good, interesting reading. I wanted to finish it that day that I picked it up, but other assignment prevented me. But the second day, I completed reading everything and it went to my head. In fact, I sat my wife down. I said, look, this book, although probably by Lajna, is for everybody. Since immediately I finished reading it, I've started writing something about it that could be useful for Ansarullah also. I'm very happy that Amisa also said that members of Ansarullah should also discuss it now. I will discuss with Sarah Sab, because even in Ansarullah, we feel it is not necessary for people to start writing. What do we want to write? What do we want to make out of writing? We are just, so it is very important. You cannot stop writing. There's no way you can stop writing. I have a lot of write-ups that are not published, but I'm happy that I have brought out my mind. and they're there. When I die, and people search my house, they will find it. It will be, it may be antiquity then, but it will be source of sadness to people. So let us think of something that will bear MASQ emblem, MASQ name. That okay, these are bulletin, these are magazine. It may be an annual magazine that will give a lot of things like Mr. said, professionalism in different fields that will encourage our youth to read. So that's just what I want to add. Jazakumullah.
All right. Jazakallah khairan jaza, respected Uncle Sab. I think you are well known for writing. So may Allah continue to strengthen you. And that idea of bulletin by this association, I think the incoming chairman and even the current chairman will look into that and see maybe that is going to encourage people. The truth also, I think I've not been seeing it also online, like sharing it online. I don't know. I see almost all the newspapers every morning, they will forward them. So I think it's something we also need to look into. Is this different from this one? Okay. So that bulletin is something we will need to look into, inshallah. Jazakallah khairan jazak. So with this, we come to the end of the guest remarks. So we go to the first session, from thought to page, a step-by-step guide to crafting articles by Mr. Mustafa Adeton. Oh, it's not here. Okay.
Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Sorry, before you go on, who is giving introduction about him? Or you just go ahead? Where is he talking from? Is it Ibadan or Lagos or Kano or is it Ibadan? Okay. Sorry? Okay. Virtually. All right, Bismillah.
So please confirm you can see my screen. So can anyone hear me?
Yeah, please go ahead. Go ahead. We can see it from here.
All right, sir. Jazakumullah khairan. Yeah, respected Amir Said, respected Naib Amir Finance and Admin, respected GSI Party or Shoboyede, respected Missionary Nephew Said, Sadar Majlis Ahmadiyya, Assalamu alaikum, the incoming Sadar Said, the chairman MASQ and then the incoming chairman, all members of MASQ and then all honorary members of MASQ, and for those non-members who are here, I say Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh to every one of us.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
So the topic I'll be talking about is from thought to page, a step-by-step guide to crafting articles. So to start with, I'll start with this from Virginia Woolf. It says, so long as you write what you wish to write, that is all that matters. And whether it matters for ages or only for hours, nobody can say. It is when people begin to read and they begin to see the light, the joy in here that determines how far and then what benefit it brings to them. What is really important is that whatever thoughts you have in your mind, pour it out. Whatever idea you have in your mind, share it with people through writing. So as long as you have that idea in you, you have to start writing. So writing starts from thoughts. And so that's why I will start from the thoughts of our writing. Now, but before we go into that, let us know what are the features of a good article. For us to write a good article, we should know what is expected or what readers expect to know from an article or to see in an article. The first one is the article must be clear in purpose. People should be able to know what is the purpose of this article. Now, from the beginning of the article, let's say from the first paragraph, people should be able to tell this is the purpose of this article. And then I thank the Amir Said and then the Neba Sahib, who has done part of the work for me, he has talked about knowing who the author is, knowing your audience, and then knowing your purpose. All of these are very, very important. People will get to know about a book by the author. They tell, okay, this author, I've read this book before. I can assure that he has good writing skill, or he writes well, or he doesn't write well. People tell about that. So the first thing that we look out for in an article to know it's a good article is that the purpose of the article is clear. We can actually tell this article is talking about this from the first paragraph to the second paragraph, and then it flows connectively. Then it also must be well researched. When I mean well researched, you are giving evidences, you are giving examples, you are giving evidences in your work. All those explanations must be backed with research, not just a kind of handpicked idea from somewhere. You must be able to give quotation of the Holy Quran, from Hadith, from Malfuzah, from books, from literature. You must have done your research to be sure, okay, this thing I'm pushing out actually has a good source of information, and then people can actually confirm it, and then they can find it is verified, and then these ideas are very logical and then well accepted. The logical flow. A good article must have a logical flow from beginning to end. It should not be disjointed. You don't start with A and then you turn to B in the middle of the article. Let the flow connect from beginning to the end. You're starting from a particular point. Let people follow you from that point to the next point you are going to, not just jump from one point to another. We'll talk about this much in the body of this presentation. Then clear and readable. So your article must be readable, use good sentences, mix long and short sentences, use punchy expressions. All of these are very, very important. You carry your reader along when you make your article readable, not just a kind of single type of thought all through, a single type of sentence structure all through. You cannot just keep writing in simple sentences. It doesn't make any sense. Or you keep writing in kind of maybe compound complex sentence or complex sentence, it doesn't make any sense. So you have to mix them together, and then you must flow very well. And then you also have unique and creativity. Now you might be like, what do I want to write about? People have written so many things. What do I want to write? Yes, they've written, but not by you. You also have to bring your own voice to the discussion. So you might be writing about what they've written before, but from what perspective, from what angle are you looking at it? So you also need to bring your own voice. That uniqueness is needed. That's why you need to write. That creativity in you is needed. That's why you need to write. So all of these are features of a good article that we look out for in article. Then we also have relevant and useful. It must be relevant to the organization, to the people, to your audience, and must be useful to them. Not just give them a kind of information, call them to an action. Show them how to do something. Show them what they need to do. Show them why they need to do it. All of these are what makes an article useful. Not just telling them about this and that, but tell them why they need to do it. Why is it important? How can they do it? Why should they engage in such things? All of these are very, very important. So all of these are features of a good article that we need to look at. Now look at the journey of writing. Now every writing starts with a journey. But before we go there, the focus of this work is to, by the end of this session, the audience should be able to at least turn a vague idea into a focused topic. You must be able to get a focused topic from your idea, from your thought. You must be able to craft out a very good topic from it. Then build strong paragraphs that flow very well. So we also have craft a very strong arguments that will resonate with people even after reading your article. They can actually go back and, oh, this is what this person is saying. The argument is well connected, and then it's resonating with them. Then write a conclusion that makes the reader believe, oh, you've actually passed a message that is unique, that is directly from you, and then not just a random message anywhere, or just another thought from another person anyway. So now the journey here is that for every writer, it starts from the thought. You move from thoughts to idea. Your thoughts could be from anywhere. It could be from a discussion, it could be from a conversation, it could be from a question, it could be from an argument, it could be from an observation. So you start from a thought. So your thought, you transform your thought into an idea. That's the first step. That's the point A to point B. Your thought must be moved from that thought to idea before you begin to write at all. Then After you have a very good idea, you move from the idea to the structure. What is the structure of my writing? What do I want my writing to look like? There are different genres of writing. You could be writing poetry, you could be writing article, you could be writing essay, whatever you're writing. They have their structure, their conventional structure. You need to know the conventional structure of the genre you're writing. You're writing an article, know the structure of article writing. You're writing the poetry, know the structure of poetry. Whatever you're writing, know the structure of it. That is the next point after getting the idea. So once you have the structure, you move to draft. That's the first thing. Draft your idea. You might not get right at the first time, at least, but you have to push out something. When you push out something, you keep modifying it, refining it, to have a polished idea. So once after the draft, you move on to the polished article, which has to be with the post writing. You've written your idea in draft. Then you keep polishing, you keep refining, you keep modifying, so you actually see this thing is actually saying what I have in my mind, and then the way I have it in my mind, the way I wish to express it. So now let's start with the first point A to point B, which is from thought to idea. Now, we have this from Natalie Goldberg. She says, write what disturbs you. That is your spark. What you fear, what you have not been willing to speak about. Be willing to split open. That is what some of us have ideas in us, but we're always like, who will read this idea? Who will read this thing? Will it make sense to people? Will they welcome it? Will people appreciate this? Will people acknowledge it at all? We kill our idea at that point. But it is better for us to start to write. We convert our idea, our thought, to idea first. So whatever is disturbing you, you have to start with that. So the first thing about turning your thought to idea is to capture your spark. The spark could be from an observation, it could be from a frustration, it could be from a conversation, it could be from a question. For instance, I was watching a video on a friend's status sometimes this week. The friend, he posted about a kind of discussion going on about polygyny in Islam, why a woman should go into polygyny, like having been a second wife. And the woman was speaking from an angle which I've never had, or I rarely heard from people. Like, she was saying that many women are going into the polygamous home with the idea of going to fight for the husband. Possibly the husband had told her that, okay, my first wife is doing this, doing that, doing it. So they have the intention of going to the marriage to revenge or to fight for the husband, which is a very, very wrong perspective, or a very, very wrong starting point to go into a polygyny. Now, if a woman is going to a polygyny with that, definitely you are creating a problem from the start. So how that this idea came to my head? Oh, this idea, I've never heard of this idea from somewhere. And then I have a mind of writing on it, which I have begun to work on, actually. So now this is a perspective. It's come from a discussion, from a conversation that I watched. It could be from an observation. It could be from maybe something is frustrating you. And, oh, people are not taking advantage of this thing, and this thing should not be going in the way it should go. It's not going the way it should go. It could be a frustration that you want to express, that you want to correct. All of these are where you can capture your spark. It could be from anywhere. It could be from an observation. It could be from a question. Maybe someone is asking you a question. The idea could drop in your head. Oh, I love this. I want to write about this. But the best thing to do is that capture the idea. Don't trust your memory about it. You have to write it down. That's the first step. Write it down. Don't believe, oh, I have pictured that and then I will remember it anytime. No, even if it's just a word, maybe a phrase, maybe a clause, maybe a sentence or a paragraph, just write it somewhere. It could be in a note on your phone, to be a small journal that you carry around. Just put that idea down. In any way that you know, whenever you go back to it, you always recollect, oh, this is what I'm trying to put here. Put the idea down, capture that moment, capture that spark, put it down somewhere, record it somewhere. Now, so you keep an idea bank. Even sometimes you might have written something in the last 1 year that you've not even had time to go to it and write about it. Maybe when you're now review, oh, I love this idea, I want to go back to it. So, but if you believe your memory has captured it, many things has happened since that time till now, which you must have forgotten that idea. But when you put it down, you've actually you've actually kept it somewhere that is safe, and you can always go back to it. So don't trust your memory with everything. Keep an idea bank. That's the best way to transform your thoughts to idea. Don't believe memory will capture it. I have a very good memory. Everybody does, but we all also forget. That's the nature of man. So keep your idea. So now, once you've done that, after that, the next thing is to clarify your message. After capturing your idea, the idea could come from a spark, from a conversation, it could come from a question, it could come from a kind of argument or frustration. Once you have that moment, capture it, put it down. Once you put the idea down, the thought down, sorry, the next thing is to ask yourself, clarify your message. What do I really want to write about this? Meaning, okay, I'm writing about polygyny. What do I really want to say about it? Clarify it. You cannot capture the whole broad topic. It's impossible. Narrow it down. Limit your scope. Bring it down to what you know. By the time you begin to expatiate on it, people know the core message you are passing. They know this is what you are trying to say, and then you are actually delivering it. So clarify your message. And then tell yourself, why should anyone care? Know why that topic matters before you begin to write. Once you know why it matters, something is driving you to write it. Know why it matters. Know why it's important. Know why it is necessary. Know why people should actually read about it. Once you capture that, then you know you are clarifying your thoughts. You are making it into a solid idea that you can run with, and that you can deliver something useful with it. So once you've clarified your message, so one thing I always recommend is that you should use the one sentence rule. When I mean one sentence rule is that you have your idea in your head. If you cannot say or write your thoughts in one sentence, then you are not clarifying it yet. It is not clearly thought out well yet. So use the one sentence rule. The one sentence rule is that you must be able to state your idea, your thought in a sentence. That's when you capture the idea in one sentence. Let's say, for instance, I want to write about social media and Islam. That is just too broad and vague. You cannot write everything about social media and Islam. It's impossible at a go. And then that idea, if you are still going around with that idea, oh, social media is this, you are not having a well thought idea yet. It's still vague. But for you to know that, oh, I have an idea that I can work with actually, be sure that you can state it in one sentence, or you can write it out in one sentence. Now look at the difference. Instead of saying, I want to write about social media and Islam, why not look at, I want to write about how social media is transforming tabligh in Islam. You know, you've narrowed it to some aspect of social media and an aspect of Islam. How is it transforming tabligh in Islam? Look at the word transform. Look at the word tabligh. Look at that in Islam. So you are narrowing it down. You are focusing on an aspect of, there are many areas in Islam. There are many aspects of Islam that people can write about. So, and there are many areas of social media that people can talk about. You can talk about the affordances, you can talk about the reachability, you can talk about many things about social media. So you're looking at, what am I picking from social media? What am I picking from Islam? You must be able to use that one sentence rule to be able, okay, this is what I'm writing. Then once you're able to do that, then you have an idea. You've moved from the thought to the idea, and then you are ready to go. Look at that sentence alone. That will be your backbone. That will be the backbone of your article once you're able to write that sentence alone, because that is what is driving you. You'll not lose focus, because you know you are writing around this sentence. You're writing around, you are expatiating around this sentence. So once you're able to clarify that thing, then you've moved from your thought to idea. That is from the first point to the second point. You've moved from the thought to the idea. Now your idea is clear to you. Your idea is distinct. Anybody can begin to write about this, about that, about this, about that, but you know you're writing about how it is transforming tabligh in Islam. So now after that, we'll move on to the next one, which is from idea to structure. Once you be able to transform your thoughts into an idea, the next thing is to move to structure. Are you writing an article? Are you writing a poetry? Whatever you're writing, the structure must be clear. Once you know the structure, then the next thing is to begin to write about it. Now we have here, all good writing begins with terrible first efforts. Yeah. Sometimes, I talk about people just, why will my article be interesting to people? Why should I write? Some ideas die at that point. But now you see, all good writing begins with terrible efforts. You need to start somewhere. And for you, for every writer, the first and then the most important point and then the most important place to start is to start with an outline. Start with an outline. When you're starting from somewhere, start with an outline. You're writing a poetry, you're writing an article, start with an outline. For this purpose, we're talking about article writing. A conventional article writing will have a simple structure that looks like this. You have an introduction, which will be a hook and a context, meaning you are telling people what you're writing about, the purpose of your writing, and then what you want them to pick from your writing. That will be what will keep them along with you all through. If in your first paragraph, people are not sure of what you're writing about, the purpose is not clear, people might not even read beyond the first paragraph. For those who read news, there's something we call inverted pyramid. You have the lead, so in the lead, you have many things, the what, the where, the why, and all of that. Because they want people to know, okay, this is what we'll be reading about in this news story. That's what the lead is doing in news writing. In also article, the first paragraph should be able to tell people what are they going to read in this article. Give them that idea that you have in your mind that you want them to read about. Then let them decide, oh, this thing is interesting, I'm going with you all through. Oh, I'm not interested in this. Don't need to waste their time, because next time they come across your writing, oh, this person wastes my time, I don't need to read about the person. Once you're able to capture that, okay, I'm not wasting your time in this first paragraph, this is what you're reading about in my article, then they will decide, am I going through with him or not? Let's leave language for now. Is it a simple language use or a kind of compound language use or whatever? Now, the idea should be pronounced in the first paragraph. So the introduction should be there. Then you have the body, which is about 2 or more paragraphs, depending on the number of points you have in your outline. You can have like 3 or more paragraphs, 4 or more, depending on what you're writing about, the number of points you are trying to argue and you're trying to push out to people. So you can have that. That's the body. Then you have the conclusion. Every article has this outline. No matter the article, this is the outline you'll have. Now, the style of now presenting yours is now the difference from author A to author B, but the outline remains the same. So if you are starting from anywhere to write, get an outline first. Know what you are putting in your introduction, know what goes into your body, know what goes into the conclusion. Let's have a sample outline for the topic we have earlier. This topic, I want to write about how social media is transforming Tabligh in Islam. So let's look at this outline for that particular topic. Now, we've clarified that the topic I want to write about, the idea I'm presenting, is how social media is transforming Tabligh in Islam. Now, my perspective is different from what other people could have. Now, my own area of viewing why social media is transforming is because many people believe they are too busy to partake in Tabligh. I cannot go out, I cannot go for Tabligh, I cannot move here and there to talk to people about Tabligh. But are there ways you can also contribute to it? Yes. You have the intro we'll talk about. Many people wish to partake in Tabligh. They wish to, but they struggle with time. Maybe due to work, maybe the family engagement, maybe other engagement. They do not have time to engage in it. That's my perspective of Tabligh. Tabligh could be different. I mean, if you could look at Tabligh from different angle. But from what angle am I looking at mine? People who are busy. You can see I keep narrowing it down. People who are busy, maybe they wish to talk to people about Islam, but their work will not allow them to do that. Their location will not allow them to do that. Many things will not allow them to do that, but they also wish to do it. They wish to partake, but time, they struggle with time. But do you know social media can help? That is what I'm bringing up. Once anybody reads about that in my introductory paragraph, he knows, oh, this person is talking about how I can use social media actually to transform tablet. I mean, to work to do tablet. Anyone who has been struggling with time, with who wish to partake in tablet, and who has been struggling with many things, and sees this in my introductory paragraph, will, oh yes, I want to see how I can actually engage in tablet. I've captured his interest with the first paragraph, and he wants to follow me through that journey till the end. That's what my introduction should do. That's what a conventional introduction should do. And that's what your introduction should do. Once you've captured the interest, then move on to the point. Why and how? Look at the body. The first point in the body. Now, in the body, which contains of paragraph, each paragraph must have 1 point. Each paragraph must have 1 point. So in the body, the paragraph 1 will be, okay, social media reaches, why you need to use it, because social media reaches large number of people with no geographical boundary. You can be in the comfort of your room and then be speaking to people all over the world, which we all know. We all know about that. So if you are thinking I don't have time, but you can always leverage social media to reach out to people. Those of these are examples. Actually, there could be more deeper example of why and how. But this is just to guide us on why and how we can use outline to get better and then good writing from our idea into structure. So the second could be give affordances and allows individuals to express. You can decide to do videos of expressing yourself, YouTube, use TikTok, talk about Islam, talk about Tabligh. You can be in your room and do all of this. And you can also write, type, send, write article, all of that. It allows all of that. So even if you are busy, even if you have many things, you can just create 5 minutes of your time a day. Okay, I want to write about this hadith. Don't just explain this hadith in 5 minutes. You can do that. You are doing your tabligh in your own way, despite your busy schedule. You can also have immediate follow-up. Maybe you've tapped something on social media, and then someone, for instance, sometimes back I read something on the Sarah side status. I think it was engaging with someone on Facebook, and the person was asking him a question about Ahmadiyya, about Islam, about many things, and then they were responding. You know, all of this are a kind of immediate response, real-time interaction. They were exchanging ideas. It could be as it was at his work desk in his office, and he could have 5 minutes, maybe at his break, respond to that person. He's also participating in Tabligh. So anyone who has been struggling with, okay, I also want to be part of Tabligh, but I don't have time. You are telling him how he or she can also partake in it. Let people have value in what you write. Don't just tell them, show them. Okay, if you want to do this, this is how you can do it. If you are only telling could do, but it might not push them beyond hearing. But if you are showing them, it is pushing them beyond hearing, it is pushing them to doing as well. So I can have this example as my outline to write my own article, and this is what I will use all through. So now we have, okay, conclusion can encourage young Ahmadis and non-missionaries to use social media for Tabligh. That will be my conclusion for this article. So now, once I've been able to do this, the next thing is that I should build a strong paragraph for each of my, I know, okay, I must have a paragraph in the list for my introduction. I must have 3 paragraphs because I have 3 points in the outline I had. I must have 4 paragraphs because I have 4 points. I must have this. All of these are what you should do. Then your outline should start with a research. Know what you are trying to say. Let idea come out first. Then look out for, are there evidence for this thing? Can I find evidence to back my view, to back my point? Can I get illustrations? Can I get examples? Can I get things to expatiate on this thing? It should start with that. You shouldn't base on this is what I think and then that's what it is. No. Article writing is more of scholarly writing. You are contributing to an ongoing conversation. Bring what A has said. A has done this. This how he has done it. I can do it this way as well. they say this, I'm saying this. Once you say, oh, A has said this, B has said this, there's a book called They Say I Say. It is actually used in the academic. Scholar A has said this, Scholar B has said this, Scholar C has said this, Scholar D has said this, then I'm saying this. It means you are building on what scholars have written. All of that are your evidence. All of that are your examples that what idea you are bringing is actually valid, because other people have been saying it, they've been emphasizing it, and then they've also been showing it how it is done. So your paragraph should be on one idea, and it should have a topic sentence. From topic sentence, you move to the explanation of that topic sentence, explain your view about it, give examples of how it has been done, what has been said, all of this. Then link that sentence, that paragraph, that there should be a link sentence in each paragraph that connects your paragraph to the overall message that you are passing in your article. Each paragraph will be a standalone, but still connected. So there must be something connecting that standalone paragraph to the overall message. So there must be a link sentence in every paragraph. What connects this point to how social media is transforming tabligh in Islam? All of that must be there. Connect your sentence, connect your paragraph, connect your point to the overall idea or the overall message that you are passing. So now after this, the next thing is, let's have an example. So I'm taking one of the points because of time. I will write on it. Now we can have this. Now as Now I have here as tabligh is the primary duty of every Ahmadi. This can be done in many ways. Leveraging social media, which is one of the channels that can be used for tabligh, allows us to reach large number of people beyond our current location. Let me just explain as I go. In that first two sentences, I have actually made my point in that paragraph known. If you go back to my outline, the first point I have there is that reaches many people beyond our geographical location. Now, I don't even waste my reader's time. In the first sentence, he knows what I'm talking about in this paragraph. Look at, we have leveraging social media, which is one of the channels that can be used for tabligh, allows us to reach large number of people beyond our current location. Then I go on to talk about it. By using social media, people from far and near get the message of the promised Messiah and will become part of the fulfillment of the prophecy of taking his message to every corner of the earth. A prophecy built on tabligh, meaning I'm trying to back, okay, that prophecy of the promised Messiah is built on getting the message to every corner of the earth, is actually driven by tabligh. Without tabligh, that message would not be driven to every corner of the heart. That sentence, a prophecy built on tabligh, is a very punchy one because I'm connecting it to a long-standing fulfillment or prophecy that has been there. So everybody know, oh, I can connect this to work of Imam Mahdi. I can connect this to prophecy given to Imam Mahdi. They must be able to connect your work or your saying to something that oh, this thing is actually correct. Now, I'm not going further to give an example. For instance, I can conveniently read articles published in Al-Akam. We all know Al-Akam. Every Ahmadi know what Al-Akam is and what they do. On my mobile, from the comfort of my home, from a link on X or Facebook. If, for instance, Al-Akam has published an article and then they put the link on their X handle or their Facebook page, you can actually click on that link and read the article. That's what's one of the power of social media, what it affords you. So I'm also giving you that, okay, these are examples of what has been done with social media for tabligh. These are instances of what has been done. I'm giving examples. I'm giving examples. These are what has been done about social media for Islam. I mean about tabligh. So if Al-Akam is doing it, you also can do it. Because we all use our social media, we use our X handle, we use our Facebook, we use our this, we use our that, we use our that. As long as you can use it for other purpose, you can use those handles as well, for them, which many of us are doing. Just like I said, this is just a kind of example for us to see what flow we should take in writing. Now, similarly, when we use social media to spread the message of Islam as taught by the Holy Prophet and Imam Mahdi alayhi salam, we are engaging in tabligh despite our busy schedule. In a little way, I'm connecting this to why I'm writing. So people who believe they are busy, they are saying why they should. I'm giving a why here. So I'm not only giving a why in this paragraph, I'm also giving example. I'm also showing why and how they can do it. Even if you don't know how to do it before, even if you know, this is reminding you of how you should do it. Now, look at, I have, despite their what busy schedule, it could be sharing a quote from the Malfuzon. Maybe you read something about in the Malfuzon. I know this is very interesting. I need my people to see this. You can share it. It's a form of tabligh. Expatiating on the teaching of the prophets. It's a form of tabligh. Based on the book, based on the book of the Promised Messiah. Maybe Imam Mahdi has explained one of the hadith, and you see this thing is a very nice perspective for people to see. You can use it in your social media handle. Posting a message of His Holiness, etc. That's how I'm showing you how to do it. I'm showing my reader how to do it. Not just telling them why they should. I tell them why they should. I bring evidence in that paragraph. I'm telling them why they should. I'm also showing them how they should. Now, doing this translates to partaking in tabligh. And that is one of the ways social media has made tabligh easy prior to its wide spread. That can be a paragraph. That paragraph itself is well contained. And then I've linked it to the main message. That's okay. Even if you are busy, you are still partaking in tabligh with that thing. Let's go a step back. Look at this. We have topic sentence. I think I show what topic sentence it is in that paragraph. We have the explanation of that topic sentence. We have examples of how it is done and how it should be done. We have a sentence that links this to the main idea. A very good conventional paragraph should have the structure. So your structure should go in this direction. So once we are done with that, then it means you will be able to grasp all of this for every of your paragraphs. It means you now have a very good structure that you are showing. Then we are moving from structure to draft. So draft now is that, okay, you put your first idea down from beginning to the end. Write your introduction, write your points in the different bodies, body 1, paragraph 2, paragraph 3, all of that to know what goes into what paragraph. You must have done your arrangement while you are doing your outlining. So now I'm starting this with this. If you write to impress, it will always be bad. But if you write to express, it will be good. Many of us always, I want people to know I can write. That's a very bad starting point to write. You don't write to impress people. Start by, okay, I want to express this idea. I have this idea in me. I want people to see it. I want people to feel it. I want to show people how it is done. You should start with the idea of expressing that idea. And you should use every mode that you can use to express that idea to make people understand that idea. If you're not writing to express, you are doing a bad job. And you're only wasting your time and your reader's time. So if you write to impress, it's always a disaster. It ends bad. But if you write to express your idea, your feelings, your views, your perspective, then it will be good at the end. Because no matter how it is said, it is the idea that you feel that you are sure that you are putting it down the way it should be done, following the conventional standard, using good words, using good language, and then you are expressing it to people. So that is what you should have in your mind when you are moving from structure to draft. When you are drafting your idea, have it in mind that, oh, I'm not impressing anyone in my writing. I'm trying to express. Even if impression will come later, let me express it first. So the first point is to craft a strong sentence. Now, article writing is a block, is a building that has different blocks. From word to phrase to clause to sentences to paragraphs to articles. It goes like that. So the first point is, once you have the words, make sure you write them in clear sentences. Write them in clear sentences. Do not complicate it. You should always prefer to use short and direct sentence when you're writing. Be straight, be direct, be punchy. I'm not saying you should always use simple sentence all the time. Mix it together. Mix long one with short one, make punchy ideas, use expressions, and then avoid windy expression that you keep winding and winding around before you can express. Avoid it. Go straight. Avoid cluster phrases. Instead of writing due to the fact that you can just say because of, or you can move on. I will show us how we can express the same idea with few words later in this part of in the later part of this presentation. So avoid cluttered phrases. Go straight. Let people know, okay, this is what you're writing. You don't need to start making them see, okay, well, maybe some people write and then in the middle of it, and in the course of reading a sentence, they even lost the idea in that sentence. They lost what point you are proving in that sentence because you are making it too long unnecessarily. So avoid that. So now use active voice in your sentence. It gives you the authority. It shows that you know what you're writing about. It shows that you are in charge. It shows that you actually have the idea that you are pushing out. Instead of you can write social media promotes tabligh. It shows you have the idea, not like tabligh can be promoted by the use of social media. No. The second one here is not showing that you are in charge. It shows that, okay, you are convinced. The first one shows that you are convinced that truly it promotes tabligh. So use direct voice, use active voice. It shows that you are in charge. It shows that you know what you're actually talking about. Then vary your rhythm. I think I've talked about that. Mix short and punchy sentences with longer ones. And then I think I used that in the example I gave earlier. Let me just go back a bit to show that example. If you look at this part, sorry, where we have okay, by Messiah, and we become part of the fulfillment of the promise of prophecy of taking his message to every corner of the earth. That is a kind of long sentence. I follow that with a prophecy built on tabligh. That's a very short one and punchy one, emphasizing what I have in that long sentence. So mix your sentences. It makes your reader have a rhythm of going with you while you write. So now mix that together. So once you're able to do that, then let's have this example. Now, before I have how we can use short sentence to express the same idea. Look at, there are many Ahmadis who do not engage in tabligh because they believe they are always busy and could not go out to speak to people about Islam. I have 29 words there. Now read, many Ahmadis say they cannot engage in tabligh because they are busy. Still the same idea, but the first one used 29 words. Second one used just 12 words, less than half. So why should I say what I can say in 12 words in 29 words? Why should I waste words? Why should I waste my readers' time? Why should I waste my time to write those words? So prefer to use short sentences when you're writing. All of this come when you are editing. When you're writing your draft, all of this can flow. You can write whichever way you want to write. Put them down. Be free. Free your mind. Write the way it comes to you. Just put it down the way it's appearing to you when you're writing your draft. But have it in mind that, oh, I'm still going to trim out some words here. So when you are trimming it out, you come to this when you get to the editing, which we'll talk about later. So now, when you are now writing, you also need to build a strong argument. By building a strong argument, you need to I'm not saying you can use, there are many frameworks that you can use, but you can use the PEEL framework to build a strong argument for yourself. And I will explain, I will analyze my paragraph with this. What I mean by PEEL framework, let your paragraph contain your point. Let your point be there. Let there be evidence to back it. Facts, examples, quotes from the Hadith, from Quran, from Mahfuzah, from the works of the Prophet Messiah, from the works of the current Khalifa, from the work of the previous Khulafa. Get evidence. Explain. I talk about showing. Show why it matter. Tell why it matter. Then link this paragraph to the overall message. Use that PEEL framework to always analyze every paragraph before you turn it in for submission. Look at every paragraph. Is it following this framework? Is it stating a claim? Do I have my points emphasized here? Do I have the evidence here in this paragraph? Let each paragraph show each evidence. Am I showing the evidence here? And can it be found anywhere that has been done like that and it is well accepted? Show your explanation, then link it to the... Let me use this framework to analyze the paragraph we are flowing with in this discussion. Look at this. Sorry. Look at this. So can anyone else hear me? Assalamu alaikum?
Why, Salam, you can hear you very clearly.
Oh, Jazakumullah khairan, sir.
Go
So,
ahead, go ahead.
all right, Jazakumullah. So now let's look at this paragraph using the PID framework. The point is there. Social media allows us to reach large number of people beyond our current location. If you look at my outline, this is the first point I have in my outline. And this is the point I'm arguing in that paragraph. Look at the evidence. I can conveniently read articles published in Al-Akam, meaning Al-Akam is using it. So that's an evidence, even if you're like, is it done anywhere before? Even if you don't know anything, do you know Al-Akam? If you know Al-Akam, then there are different examples. I only bring this one into this. Now, you have an evidence to show, okay, okay, it's actually been done, it's actually been used, and this is how it is used. Explanation. When you use social media to spread the message of Islam, we are also engaging in tabligh despite our busy schedule. You are showing them why. You are showing them why. You are explaining to them why they should use it. You've shown them evidence how it is used. Then you explain them how they should use it. Then you have, doing this translate to what? That we are also engaging in what? In tabligh. That is, you are connecting this to the major message, the overall message that you are passing in your article. So, analyze every of your paragraph using this framework. If it's not there, peel it out. Peel what is necessary out. If it's not contributing to the point, just peel it out. If it's not showing evidence, trim it out. If it's not an explanation, cut it out. If it's not linking, remove it immediately. All of that are only eating your space and wasting your reader's time. So use this framework to always analyze every of a paragraph while you write. So now moving on. So we have when you craft, after writing every paragraph from introductory to the body, you craft your conclusion. So a strong conclusion is more than a summary, though you summarize your points, you give what you've written, you summarize your points and stuff like that. Then it's your final impression. What are you leaving the reader with? Not just show them, what are you leaving them? Are you calling them to an action? Are you making them to reflect on something they've not been doing? Are you charging them to pick up something and start doing? Let it be an impression in them. End with a reflection and inspiration or a call to action. That is why your readers stay with you. So even if they see your name on another article, they want to read because, oh, the last time I read, it left me with something that is remarkable. That's what the conclusion should do. So now let's have an example of that. We have, look at this example for conclusion. Based on the paragraph and the points we've been working with, in the end, busy schedule should not debar us from benefiting in the unending reward of tabligh. With social media, we can reach large number of people. That's the first point I talked about in the outline. We can always express ourselves using both our writing and communication skills. That's the second point, the affordance. I'm summarizing my point here. Not using the exact word I used earlier, but still retaining the idea. You can also engage in real-time conversation with people to help them understand the message of the Messiah, summarizing all my points. So even if he has forgotten point A before he gets here, this is reminding him of what point I have in my first paragraph, what point I have in my second paragraph, what point I have in my third paragraph. So he doesn't need to go back and start check, oh, what point is he trying to make in this paragraph? They can always see it here. Then as Ahmadis, now a call to Ahmadi now. Social media has made it easy to partake in fulfilling the prophecy of spreading the message of Allah to all corners of the earth. And we have no excuse. I'm calling people to action. I'm charging them not to be a part of this rewarding effort. So you should have all of this in your concluding paragraph to call them, to charge them, to remind them of what they need to do while they are writing. So your article should flow like this. So after this, we move on to, after draft, move on to from draft to polish, talking about editing. But before we go there, your flow should be start with the mind to express. Just be free. Let it flow in your mind. Write it the way it comes to your mind. Start with the mind to express. Express yourself. Practice and write consistently. When you write consistently and then you begin to write, master your style and hone a voice. Let people know this is how this person writes. I love the way you write. This is how you write. But you are always expressing. People are always getting something beneficial from your writing. Then when all of that are done, impression can then follow. Don't start with impression. If you start with impression, it means you are writing a bad work. So start with expression. Then when you are expressing yourself, impression, people can begin to love, like, and then also engage with your work. So now we are moving on to the last part in the journey of writing, which is from draft to polish. If you are moving together, we've talked about from thought to idea, where we see how we can make our thoughts into a very strong and valid idea that we can run with. I emphasize about the use of the one sentence rule, which will make us clarify our message from the beginning. So after that, we talked about from idea to structure. What genre are we writing? What is the conventional structure of that? How can we write it? I gave an outline of an article. You must have an introduction, you must have body that contains of different paragraphs, you must have a conclusion, which is the conventional way. We'll talk about how to write all of these paragraphs and then the conventional way of doing all of that. And then, so now we've written our draft. We've moved from idea, from thought to idea, from idea to structure. We've structured our work, we've drafted it out. Now, before we now put it out for people to read, what do we need to do? There's one more step to go. We must polish it. We must ensure everything is in order. That is the next step, which is from draft to polish. So in the draft to polish, we have, sorry. So here we have, what I've learned about writing is that sometimes no. Sometimes less words is even more than saying it in larger words. So sometimes less is more. So you must always edit. Like one of my professors will always say that you have only written when you've rewritten. When you have not rewritten, you've not written anything. So when you write, you have to write it, edit it, cut it out, add to it, modify it, adjust, move paragraph A to paragraph B. B can, okay, this paragraph will fit well in this position. And reposition all your paragraphs. If you think one will flow well when it's positioned here or there. That's what you do when editing. So now we move. It's a suggestion.
We have a network challenge there. Is showing you best, so what is he trying to do? Okay.
Sorry, can you hear me now? Assalamu alaikum.
Yes, we can hear you now.
We can hear you.
Oh, so it
Just
was
a little this thing.
Yeah, it was
Just
a
a little
network.
network problem. Just a
I'm
little
sorry.
network problem. We are hearing.
Yeah,
We can hear you now.
Please, you have
Let
5
me
minutes,
try.
Mas.
All right, let me try to reshare my slide. I'll try to wrap up in 5 minutes. Jazakumullah. Sorry, confirm you can see my screen?
Confirmed.
Yeah, so you edit in 3 rounds. So the first one should be the content editing. Edit the content. Be sure everything is there. All your points, all your arguments are all in your article. Everything you wish to push out are all there. Then clarity. Edit your sentence, your words, ensure it is readable. People can read and enjoy it, it can flow well. Then now go on to your grammar. Now these days we have different AI tools that can help us with grammar, we can help us with tone and the flow. But one thing I always say is that, which I believe it's right, is that you should not outsource your idea to AI. Let AI help you polish your idea, not AI giving you the ideas to write about. So it doesn't make you unique. Your own idea is different from what AI will give to you. So now you should polish, and then you can use all of those tools. There are tools for us to use actually to save our time. I don't see any crime in using it. So you can use all of those tools to edit your idea, to look at the grammar, to save your time of checking the grammar, a lot of stuff like that. So now read your article aloud. After that, read it aloud to yourself. Hear what you are pushing out. If it sounds awkward to you, then it reads awkward to your reader. If you're like, is this what I've written? Then it will be awkward to your reader as well. Read to yourself. Is this what I'm pushing out? So that's another round of editing. After doing the 3-stage, read it to yourself. If it doesn't speak well to read well to you, then it won't read well to your reader as well. So now, when editing, you should always ask yourself, can the teenager understand this? Meaning, can anyone, even people of young age, can they understand this article? So does every sentence serve a purpose? If a sentence is not there, it's just there redundant, remove it. It's not useful. Don't have redundant sentences in your or words in your article. If it's not doing anything, remove it. Then does the ending leave a lasting impression? Are you calling to an action? Are you emphasizing something in the end? All of these are very, very important. So now, just to wrap up, everything we've talked about move from thought to page. And then this can be captured in the way we've talked about this. Capture your ideas first, then you clarify your focus. That's the next thing. You outline your structure, which is very, very important before you start. Then build strong paragraphs and strong arguments in your paragraph. Then craft clear sentences and logical arguments in whatever you're writing. And after all of that, edit and polish with care, which is very, very important. So that's all we've talked about today. Jazakumullah khairan for the time, and then for being here with me from the time I started till now. Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Well, on behalf of the respected Admin Sahab, I want to thank Brother Mustafa Adeitan for that well thought out and also clearly crafted and scholarly delivered paper. That is the way I look at it. I don't know whether I am speaking the minds of most of the listeners. We thank you very much for that. I think we must have learned one or two things from the presentation. May God continue to be our guide and improve you, increase you also in knowledge. Well, the next program on your agenda is question and answer, but I don't know how it's going to look like if we decide to combine the second lecture with this one and now take all the questions in a stream. I don't know how it will look. So if we will do that, because the second lecture, which is to be delivered by respected chairman, Malam Abbas Agbaji Sahib, is going to be taken by Mr. Ibrahim Sulaiman. I don't know whether Mr. Ibrahim Sulaiman is on call already. So if Mr. Ibrahim Sulaiman is on call, can we have your paper on emotion into expression, writing and performing poetry? Mr. Ibrahim Sulaiman Sahib.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum salam wa barakatuh.
So I'll be sharing my screen now.
Yes, we are ready for you.
All right, sir. Is my screen visible?
Oh, yes.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
My name is Ibrahim Sulaiman, and I'll be filling in the absence of the esteemed chairman, Malam Sab. So I'll be speaking about emotions to expression, a practical guide to writing poetry. So in this piece, what we'll be looking at is how to word our poetry actively and expressively in a way that goes beyond merely just writing, because many times people write poetry and what happens is that they have only written a piece of writing that does not share the emotion of the writer to the audience and whoever else has the opportunity to read it. So in this case, we'll be looking at how to put our emotions to paper and in a sense to express it to the audience. So in this guide, we'll be looking at three things. There's the basics of poetry, there's the fundamentals of writing poetry, and there's the voicing your words, wording your voice. So in the first part of it, the basics of poetry, we'll be looking at what are the things that poetry entails. What are the things that make up poetry? Then in the fundamentals of writing, we'll be looking at how do we write it? What are the things to put into consideration when writing? Then we look at how to actually, after understanding what to write and how to write it, then we look at actually putting our emotions into the writing. So we move into the basics of poetry, emotive expressions. So it says, what is poetry? In this slide, as we can see, it says, poetry is a form of literature that uses carefully chosen words, often arranged in lines and stanzas to evoke emotions, ideas, and experiences through rhythm, sound, and imagery. What this simply means is that there's a way you feel about something, then you want to put it out for the next person to understand. However, in reality, it is easy to just come out with your voice and say, this is how I feel. But poetry takes it a step further and says, you know what? Don't just tell us how you feel, show us how you feel. Let us feel what you are feeling. In poetry, the reality of poetry, it is in between the space between emotion and expression. You have an emotion inside of you, then you need to express that emotion. The link between the emotion and the expression of that emotion is what poetry is. And it makes use of a number of things like arrangement, stanzas, lines. All of these are rules that have been put in place, either formally or informally, to ensure that we are attaining the same result, whichever way you put it. Poetry, further, is a way to express our thoughts, to describe things, or to tell stories in a concentrated and artistic manner. Underline concentrated and artistic manner. Without poetry, in a prosaic manner, in the form of prose, it is easy to say, I got drenched in the rain and I feel cold. But when you want to do something like that in poetry, you say something like, the rain embraced me. When you say the rain embraced you, someone looks at it like the rain does not have hands to embrace you. But what the rain has done is that it has made a connection with you. You are saying the rain has drenched you, but you are saying the way it has drenched you, it gives you solace, because we know that embraces and hugs give us solace. So if the rain has drenched you, maybe it gives you cold, you might say something like, you have entered like an agreement with the rain, and the result of the agreement or the gift from your agreement is a mouth-watering cold. That is, one person might say, the rain has drenched me, another person says the rain has drenched me. But one person might be saying, the rain has drenched me, but I love it. The other person might be saying, the rain has drenched me, but it's too cold for me. We are both saying, I've been drenched. But one is saying, I've embraced it, and it has given me peace. Another one is saying, it has cuddled me up in complete cold. So this is some of the examples of what poetry can do to us. It can express our feelings beyond what mere words will say. So we use artistic ways to say it, metaphors, similes, innuendos, a lot of figures of speech and figurative speeching to do it. So we proceed. So there are characteristics of poetry. So I have figurative language here. I have sound devices, emotional impact, imagery structure, conciseness. So I will read from what the slides have, what the esteemed Malam has written, then I'll give a brief personal explanation and example of each of them. So figurative language, it says, poetry frequently utilizes metaphors, similes, personification, and other figures of speech to create deeper meaning and imagery. That is straightforward. However, let me take it a step further. What do we mean by figurative expression? What are figurative expressions? We look as, or poets, let's address the people who speak poetry. Poets, they rarely say things as they are. Poets do not say things directly. They will not directly tell you this is how they feel. Instead, they cloak it in truth, in beauty, and mystery. This is me speaking from a poet's point of view now. This is how we write. We cloak it, we cover it up in mystery and beauty. And the reason why we are covering it in mystery is not because we want it to be mysterious to you or we want you to get confused, but because we want you to see multiple sides of the same truth. When a poet tells you the flower is red and is beautiful, he will not say it that way. He will say it in ways that will make you feel like, okay, there's more to the flower being beautiful or not. A very good example is, if I want to tell you it is night, I can say something like, the world folded its light into arms of sleep. It is night. I let it show in Yoruba. But as a poet, I could say the world has folded its light into arms of sleep. We know that the world has light from the morning till the evenings. However, when it is night, it folds it to craft it sleep. It means, oh, we have moved from the daylight to the evening time. However, looking at that statement, the world folded its light, it is telling us more than just it being the night. So these are part of the things that make poetry very, very interesting. Another thing is sound devices. Part of sound devices are rhythm, rhyme, alliteration, assonance, dissonance. There's so many of them. There are several forms or patterns that contribute to the poem's musicality and impact. This has to do with how does the poem sound in your ears. In part of poetry, there's something called spoken word poetry, where every bit of it is spoken for you to listen. You might not see what is being written, but when you listen to it, there's a kind of structure, there's a kind of sound that it follows. For example, there's a particular poem that a part of a poem, a line of a poem that I've read that says, whispering winds weave wild wonders. Whispering winds wave wild wonders. Now, this is all in W sound, a dissonant kind of sound, where the W sound is made to beautify what we are talking about. Whispering winds, the winds that make whispers, they weave wild wonders, which means that I love the sound of the winds in this evening, and they are making very beautiful sounds. Other than the fact that I have said this in an artistic manner, in a figurative manner, I have also dragged the reader into the consciousness of the W sound. Whispering winds weave wild wonders. So these are part of the very, very beautiful devices and characteristics that make poetry very beautiful. Another thing is emotional impact. It says the primary goal of poetry is to connect with the reader on an emotional level, prompting feelings, thoughts, and reflections. In this point, it is necessary to clearly see that poetry exists to stir emotions. Poetry is not for fun. Although there are some part of poetry that are for fun that will touch limericks when we get to the forms of poetry. However, even the funny part of poetry or the satiric part of poetry also stirs certain emotions. The fact that it is funny to you is an emotion, even if it's not a serious or a very vivid one. So there is an emotional impact that poetry seems to stir. For example, there is one I've read in a poem that says, and when you left, silence became my song. That line is alone, and when you left, silence became my song. It says something in the mind. It talks plainly, it says, oh, I am missing you. It's very simple to just tell somebody, you know what, I miss you when you left. But when you say, when the person left, silence became your song, it means that the only thing you were listening to, that your ears could fathom, was silence, because their absence has made every other thing go into extinction. You can say how just a line could make such a big impact emotionally on whoever is listening to it. So that is one of the things that we use, one of the characteristics that poetry envisages or exhumes. Another one is imagery. Poets use vivid language to create mental pictures and sensory experiences for the reader. That when you read a poem, a line or a stanza or a complete poem, it needs to send a kind of a mental message to you. It needs to let you think or assume or to envisage what the person has written. It paints pictures with imagery. It helps us see with the soul's eye, beyond just looking at what the person has written down in white and black. It makes you use your heart, your soul, to imagine what the person has said. For example, there's a line that says, the scent of rain lingers on broken streets. Now, let's carefully look at, there's an appeal to sight, to smell, and to mood. 3 appeals in just a simple line. The scent of rain. We know that rain is something that appeals to the sense of touch. The water touches you. The rain is something you feel. The cold is something you feel. But here it says the scent of rain, which carries the message of everything that the rain has fallen upon. at that time, they bring out their scent. If the rain has fallen in a grassland, in a farm, in a garden, the smell of the grains in the garden, in the farmland, comes with the smell of the rain. If it has fallen on a land of mud or clay, it arises the smell of mud. If it has fallen on a land of synthetic materials, it does the same. So if you say the scent of rain lingers, you are saying that the rain itself, although it has stopped, it still exists with you on broken streets. So you can feel the sight of it, how this scent lingers on broken streets. You can smell the scent, and you can even feel the presence of the rain, even when it has gone. So this is part of what poetry does to us. Then there's structure. Although this is one thing that or some poets debate, however, it still exists. Poems can be structured in various ways, from free verse to formal structures like sonnets and haikus. So basically, there are structures, several different structures. And some poems that do not even have structures are structured, because the actual fact of them being without a strict structure makes them a structure on their own. It's like saying, it's like the way some Muslims say they do not belong to a sect, but they're forgetting that they belong to a group of people that do not belong to a sect, which makes them a group. So even poems that do not have structures belong to a kind of poem that do not have certain structures. So in this regard, we'll say that the poetry or the structure in poetry is something that is valued. It is not always rigid, however, which is my point. It does not have to be rigid, but it needs to be intentional. Any structure that a poem needs to have, either rigid or fluent or fluid, it needs to be deliberate. The way the lines break, the length of the stanzas, or the use of punctuation all shape how a poem breathes out. So even if it is not specific, unlike haikus that have 3 lines, unlike sonnets that have 14 and the likes like that, you might write in free verse without a certain amount of verse or a certain structure. However, the lack of structure itself makes it a deliberate attempt to give it a structure that is not rigid. So this is another part of poetry. Then finally, there's conciseness, which I call precision. Poetry often conveys meaning through fewer words than prose, making each word choice crucial. Very good point. Poetry does not need so many lines. Poetry does not need so much. Each line, each word, in fact, there are times when a line has only 2 words. However, these 2 words may carry a very huge meaning. For example, hope is a tiny flame in a storm. That is 1 line. And I could break it into maybe 2 lines or 3 lines. And this is saying a lot. Hope is a tiny flame in a storm. It is a very huge message. So it is concise, it is precise, but it is sending a very powerful message. So these 6 characteristics are very important. Even if there are other things that may be secondary to all of this, these are the primary features that are necessary to every and any poetic piece. So let's move to the next slide, which briefly addresses poetic forms. So in this case, we are having 4 forms that have been mentioned here. There are several poetic forms that are not listed here. So here there's sonnet. It's a 14-line poem with a specific rhyme scheme and structure. So this is an old type of poem, actually. Sonnets are very, very long, from the days of Shakespeare. Shakespearean sonnets are like the most well-known sonnets. There are other types of sonnets too, but they are mostly 14-line poems. And they have specific rhyme schemes, especially iambic pentameter, or all other ones too. Then there are haikus. They are Japanese poems with 17 syllables in 5/7 pattern. Then there's limerick and there's free verse. So I'll just do a brief discourse on each of them, because the slide has very, very few explanations. So I'll just do some explanation with some examples of each one of them. So let's start with the sonnet. So a sonnet, in my opinion, is like a cathedral. It's like a structure. It's like a monument. Yes, it is built with balance and order. Sonnets have very rigid, fixed, and strict rules. It's balancing and order is a very, very important part of sonnet. You don't write a sonnet anyhow. You don't say you want to write a sonnet and just assume you can follow any structure. Sonnets are very specific. They have 14 lines, and they often meditate on love, time, and truth. Most times, it's about love, it's about time, something that has happened in the past, or something happening presently, or that's going to happen in the future, or about truth, about something that is existent as a fact. So there's very many different types of sonnets, but most important, most well-known ones are Shakespearean. So there's a particular example of a Shakespearean sonnet I'll bring, which is something that is titled, Shall I Compare Thee to a Summer's Day? This is about love. Shall I compare thee to a summer's day? It is a classic poem among poets that read into classic poetry. So this is a very good example of a 14-line poem that is a sonnet. So we talks about love with structured rhythm and rhyme scheme. So then there's haikus. Haikus, however, are let me say haikus are like when you whisper something. Sonnets are bold statements. Yes, let me put it that way. Sonnets are bold statements because they are thorough, they are deep, they are rigid, they are vivid, and very, very emotive. Very emotive. But haikus are the opposite. They are whispers, they are very brief, they are short, they are fleeting. Only 17 syllables, not even 17 words. Not, it might be as little words as possible. It might be 5 words, it might be 7 words, but it is usually traditionally 17 syllables. In recent times, there are haikus that have abandoned the 5-7-5 pattern. However, sticking with the Japanese traditional haikus, the first line usually have 5 syllables. The second one has 7, the last one has 5. Something like an old silent pond. A frog jumps into the pond, splash, silence again. Now look at this short haiku poem. An old silent pond. So that first line has 5 syllables. An old silent, that's 2. Then pond, 1. That makes it 1, 1, 2, 1, 5. Then there's the second one, the 7 syllables. A frog, that's 2. Jumps, 3. Into, that's 5. The pond, that's 7. Then there's the last one, splash, that is 1. Silence, that is 2, making 3. Again, that's another 2, making 5. So that is how haikus are. They are short, they are fleeting, they are like whispers. You are sending a message briefly, quickly, like you want to send a quote to somebody and just move forward. So that is how haikus work. Then there are limericks. Limericks are humor, they are funny stuff, you know, humorous 5-line poems with a distinct rhyme scheme. So they are often very rhythmic. They are things that you can sing. Limericks, many limericks can be sung as songs, and many may not be sung, but they are usually very distinct in their rhyme schemes, and they are usually 5 lines, not always or often more than 5 lines. But they are about fun, they are about laughter, they are usually said in satiric forms and all of that. And at times, they are usually absurd. There are things that are weird to say, but limerick helps you say it in a funny way. Now, there's an example I have written somewhere. There was once a man from Peru who dreamt he was eating his shoe. Now, this is 2 lines from a limerick I've read, but these 2 lines are the ones I want to bring up as an example. There was once a man from Peru. Peru is a country we all know, who dreamt he was eating his shoe. Now, look at this. This is the opening of a poem. If somebody starts a poem like this to you, it sounds funny. A man from Peru who dreamt he was eating his shoe. Why would anybody dream, or what kind of dream is that? Would it even have a meaning? So it will drag you into it like, I want to see what this person is talking about. At the same time, it makes you feel like this person is not serious. What is he talking about? How would you tell me somebody is dreaming of eating his shoe, and that is a poem to you? However, there's always a message behind it, but in a funny way, or there's something is trying to open up to you. So these are how limericks are. So they just bring fun into the game and make you think outside of the box. Then there's the free verse. The free verse are poetry or poems that does not adhere to traditional rules of meter or rhyme. They do not adhere to, you need to stress this before stressing that. You need to do a pentameter. It needs to be iambic. It needs to be this. It needs to be that. No, it doesn't care the kind of rhyme you are following. It just wants you to. They often call it, or I often call it, the rebel of poetry. Free verse is the rebel. It doesn't care. It doesn't listen to rules. Just do it. This is how you feel. And most of my poems I write personally, for few people who have read some of them, they are usually in free verse. It's just how you feel. Just tell us whatever comes to your mind and let's move on with it. So these are 4 examples of poetic forms we'll be addressing in this piece. Then we'll move on to fundamentals of writing poetry. So now we have told us, we've explained how poetry looks like, what it looks like, what it contains, what it entails. So how can we actually write it? What are the things to put into place? So there are there is this structure that has been prepared, the 5 M's of poetry writing. The 5 M's. These 5 M's involve message, meaning, medium, mode, and mechanics. So these are the 5. So start from the first one, message. The message is the objective of the poem. It is the heart of the poem. It is what you wish to say. It is exactly what you have in mind before picking up the pen. It is what came to your mind when you picked your pen. It is what walks through the corridors of your heart as you pen down each word, each alphabet, each phrase, each line. So it could be a cry for justice. Maybe you felt like something happened in government or somewhere and you feel like somebody was cheated. You want to put it to paper. That is the message. It could be a prayer of love. It could be a simple reflection about rain. It could be anything. You just ask yourself, what am I trying to write? You know, like there's a poem I wrote where I said, I keep planting kindness even where stones won't soften. This message is about resilience. It's about being good and keeping to being good, even in the hard places. You know, when someone says, I keep planting kindness, I plant the seed of kindness even where stones would never soften. This means it is a hard place, it is a hard or harsh environment. However, I still keeping to deepen the seeds of kindness into it. So the message that you are trying to pass is very, very important. Then we move to meaning. Why is it important to communicate the thoughts? Okay, I have a thought I want to communicate, but what is the importance? Why? Why do I need to communicate it? Why do I need to pass it on to anybody? Why does the message matter? It is the hidden purpose behind the poem. It is the reason, the sense of reason, the sense of need to write. The message is what you want to write. The meaning is why you need to write it. So it is the sense of meaning behind it. You know, you may write about rain, but your meaning could be renewal. The message could be about rain, but the meaning behind it could be the sense of renewal. You know, when the rain falls, it washes away some part of the soil, and the new parts come up, or it helps growth. So rain alone, you could write about rain and it could mean renewal. It could mean washing away of sins. It could mean growth, the way plants grow when rains fall. You know, it is still the same theme, the same message you are writing. However, you are passing different thoughts, different ideas, different feelings, different reasons to write it. So you may write about silence, but silence may mean peace. Silence may mean desolation. Silence may mean anger. Silence may mean betrayal. Silence, you know, you can go on and on and on. This is the beauty of poetry. One thing could mean 1,000 things. That is the beauty of poetry. So you can write about different things. Silence could mean pain. So the same silence that means peace could mean that you are crying in silence. And it could mean you just want to be away from the world. So different things come with the act of meaning in poetry. Then there's the medium. How do you communicate your thoughts? How do you effectively communicate the true meaning conceived in your mind through words, styles, and voice? There's written, there's spoken. I mentioned that earlier. So the medium is how you speak your truth. That truth that have existed, that you have nurtured in the remotest corners of the heart. How do you bring them to life? The truth or the ideas that are in embryo, that are in the fetus stage in your heart, in what ways do you disseminate it? Do you spread the seed of your ideas to the ground of your audience? So this could be spoken, it could be written. Sometimes the page is enough. Sometimes just writing is good enough. When people pick it up and read it, it does justice to it. And at times, the stage gives the poem more wings. You know, it is good in written, but at times when you speak it out, it emotes more emotion. You know, at times the way you speak it, the voice, the change in tone, the movements, you know, the hand movements, the expressiveness of how you do it might add more wings to the poem. However, one does not displace the other. For example, when you write, you left quietly. You left quietly. It might have sent the message, really. You left quietly, it has sent the message. However, if you are speaking it aloud and you pause in between, something like you left quietly, there's a difference in the two. When somebody reads, you left quietly, and you left me quietly, So these are mediums and how they work. The pause, that brief pause in between does a lot of impact on your poem. Then there's the mood. It could be lyrical, it could be narrative, it could be comical, it could be satirical, it could be micro poetry. You know, it's a stylistic choice, your stylistic choice. How do you decide to write it? Some people love long poems to write each line very, very long, 10 words, 5 words. Some love just one, just two, you know, in each line. So depending, some love it to rhyme, some love it to have rhythm, some love dissonance, assonance, you know, some love internal reading, some love external reading, different ways. It could be funny. Some love to use weird words. Some love to use archaic words that do not exist. Some even love to coin words for their poems, the way Shakespeare did a lot of times. So these are very different ways. There's a lyrical poem I have here. Your eyes songs I've heard. Now, your eyes songs I've never heard. This is a lyrical poem. Your eyes songs I've never heard. There's a kind of lyric in between it. Your eyes songs I've never heard. There's a lyric between. Then there's a satirical one that says, the leaders dying on promises again. The leaders dying on promises again. The promises they've made to the followers is what they feed on, because the followers believe in their promises. However, this belief is what results to riches for them to feed on. However, it has been written in a satirical tone. Then there's a micro poem that cuts straight to the heart, something like, my silence writes louder than my voice. My silence writes louder than my voice. It's a micro poem, but it says so much. Even our motto, the Jama's motto, could be a poem. In my mind, when it is said, love for all, hatred for none, there's a way it brings some amount of poetic beauty in my head, as if it was deliberately coined in a poetic way. So then the last part of it is mechanics. So mechanics are like rules around it, some rigid rules that contain punctuation, figurative expression, allegory, simile, metaphor, personification, metonym, you know, synecdoche, and a lot of them all. Then there's style, there's rhythm and imagery. So in this case, let's do a kind of comparison between mechanics. In plain, you can say, I love you. In a poetic way, you can say, I love you like silence loves a storm. I love you like silence loves a storm. The two are saying the same thing, but the mechanics that have been put into it to make it poetic has improved the amount of love that has been shared to the person listening. So these are the 5 M's of poetry that need to be put into consideration when writing a poem. So now this is the last part of the slide. Voicing your words, wording your voice, changing the world with your words. So this is just like a call to write, you know, to write something poetic with your voice. This is like saying, leaving an open space for people to write free verses and all of that. So in that regard, I have poems, like 5 free verses I've written just briefly that I quickly made up, and I would like to read them in this space. So it's in the last slide, the Malam said, have you ever written a verse in praise of Azra Muhammad Mustafa sallallahu alaihi wasallam? So this is a call for everyone to write something just in the praise of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So in this regard, I have a few poems to read out briefly to us. There are 5 poems. However, each one of them is less than 6 lines or 7 lines. So it's brief. My poems are usually very brief. So the first one is titled, it does not even have a title, but it's in the remembrance of the Prophet ﷺ. So it goes thus: I have not seen you, yet my heart remembers your light. It must be from the stories my mother told, how mercy walked barefoot among men, and the dust under your feet smelled of forgiveness. Ya Rasulullah, if, only if, I could borrow one breath of your patience, I would love the world without complaint. That is one poem. Then there is another one. This one is titled, Salam upon you. O Muhammad, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, peace be upon you. The sun was never brighter than your silence. You taught us that kindness is not a sermon. It is a hand extended before it is asked. Even the stones in Mecca remember your footsteps. The desert wind still carries your name like prayer beats. Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. So those two are in remembrance or in salutation of the Prophet. Then I have some other 3 additions that are just for abstract thoughts. So the third one is the city within. There's a city inside me where broken thoughts live. Each night I walk through its narrow streets, naming the houses after people I have lost. But sometimes a window glows, a child laughing, a kettle singing, reminding me that even ruins still remember warmth. This is titled The City Within. It's a poem I wrote recently about some people I have missed or I have lost in my life. Then there's another one, is an unfinished poem. I keep writing lines that end in silence. Maybe that's how healing sounds. Like a song that has forgotten its chorus. Still, the ink insists, begin again, start writing. So this is the 4th poem. Then the last poem I'll be dishing out to us is When Love Learns to Listen. When Love Learns to Listen. Love is not loud, it hums. It sits by the window, folding small moments into memory. If you ask it why it stays, love will whisper, because storms also need a listener. And that makes 5 free verses I'll be sharing with us. So in the end of this presentation, I would like to share that poetry at its best is not about sounding beautiful. It's about being honest in a beautiful way. It is where emotion becomes expression, and expression becomes a voice that outlives even the poet. So when you write your next poem, don't chase perfection, chase truth. Let the poem come to you like prayer, quietly, but with a purpose. And as I once wrote in one of my poems, I do not write because I know, I write because I feel, and I want the feeling to find form. So here shall be where I will end my brief exploration of what the esteemed Malam has prepared for us. I know I've not been able to do justice to how he would have done it. However, I hope I've been able to share something but brief insight into what poetry is and how it is done in an emotive way. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. You are to represent Malam Abbas Agbaje. You are not to to become Malam Agbaje. It's part of poetic expression. So that is the beauty of writing. It creates room for everybody to have his own style, because style is man, as is already said. So no matter how much you want to copy somebody, you will end up creating your own style. And once you are consistent with that style, you'll be known by your own style. And in fact, if you take a write-up, you can always say, this is from so person. That is what style does to a man. We are very grateful to Mr. Ibrahim Sulaiman for that beautiful representation of what we expected from Malam Abbas Agbaje. In fact, we can't get it better. We can't get it better. So if Malam Abbas Agbaje himself has been here, we will also it will be mouth-watering. Now, here is somebody who we never expected that he would be the person delivering the paper, also doing the same thing. Thank you very much. May God continue to bless you. Now, here we are. We've listened to 2 lectures now. I believe the first lecture will still be ringing in our mind. Whatever gray areas we think needs to be cleared, well, maybe we should raise questions on it. We still have some time now. We are just a little past 12 o'clock, and we have to round up this session by 1 so that we can go on break for Salat and some other things before we come back for the next session. So you have questions or observations or additions to what have been presented. I think you will also be in order. If you have questions, broaden your mind, just indicate either from here or those online. Let us have your questions, your observations, or your contributions, as it may be. So the floor is open now for question on the two papers or the two lectures that we have listened to, or advice or contribution, whichever. So the floor is open. Can we have indications of those who want to come in? Is there anybody? Yes? Yes, the message can also be dropped in the chat room. Yes, you can drop your message in the chat room. Yes?
I think we have someone.
Okay.
Mr. Abayomi Ibrahim Matajo, please can go ahead and ask your question.
That's from the UK, I suppose. Yeah. Sir Ibrahim Matajo, you're welcome. Well, I'm very happy you are with us.
Mute yourself and ask your question.
He has always been like that. He always feels nostalgic. Anything that goes on at home, he wants to be part of it. That's a very good one. So,
all right. Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum salam wa barakatuh.
Jazakumullah khairan.
Thank you for being part of us.
I'm really delighted. Jazakumullah, sir. I'm really delighted to be here, and I've listened to many of the discussions. Particularly for Uncle Touch, I was wondering why I've not read many of your writings, but you have answered the question for me. You said you have them in your archive. Hopefully someday before you go, you get to write those things. I remember the few ones I've read, and I think we should say, may Allah bless your life for those writings. Now, I wanted to add to what Mr. was saying earlier on. Permit me to please, remain on the already observed protocols. We were talking earlier on about how to improve visibility of the many writings, and Uncle, I'm sure you will take this seriously, that some of those things you've kept in your archive needs to come up. But one thing that I've been pushing in my mind before now is that we have Ijtima every year, and we have academic competitions, and the persons or individuals that come first have always been adjudged to be good writers. So I felt, what are we really missing? And I think one thing we are missing is the fact that these authors who have come so well, recognized to have gotten the first prize or even the second or third, could we ask them to then flesh up this, because we give them 3 minutes to do justice to a topic? Can we then ask them to flesh up this, this topic into an article, and in that way we can increase the visibility of their thought? Again, we can re-echo the themes of our Ijtimat, which we choose carefully every year, so that for at least a longer period of time, the echoes of the last Ijtimat continues to linger, and so on. That's just my contribution. And Jazakumullah for having me. Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you very much. I think we've discussed something like that earlier today on this program. Let me give you an example. The National Tarbiyah Committee was set up with the approval of His Holiness Ashat Talat Masih Hamis Aziz by the Amir. I think early 2024 or late 2023. Lectures have been delivered, seminars have been held, and all these lectures, just few months ago, we just decided, okay, let's have these lectures published so that they could be immortalized. Now we edited them. The book has been prepared. It's now I think it's now in the Army service, or I don't know whether it has been sent to Mercas for publishing, so that those lectures, they will continue to be evergreen, especially for a generation yet unborn. Because once those of us in the present listen to them and we enjoy them, and we don't have them with us, it's gone. So that is exactly what we are saying. Those writers, those we are giving prizes that they came first in this, in that, we don't have them on records. And that is very, very important. I started something some time ago. I was compiling the personalities in the Jamaat from maybe early 50s. I got some. We don't have archive for all these people. Umarat, maybe this is our 9th or 10th Amir now. We don't have records of all those past ones that have gone. We have those, for instance, like the period of Malam Ajma Shahid, 1972 to 1982. We tagged it the golden decade of the Jamaat Ahmadiyya in Nigeria. We don't have anything about it. Don't have anything about it. So this is one of those things that this organization, this MASQ, should look into and exhume all those good things that had gone to pass. For instance, Maulana Ajma Shahid, may Allah continue to increase him in health. It's now 96 or 97. When he heard about Ujukuru, he purchased the land here. He purchased this land, I think in 1975. So when he heard about Ujukuru, he said I should assist him in writing about Ujukuru. So I titled it From Ajima Shahid to Aziz Alatoye. That was the title. I published it anyway, but the publication is just for me. I gave Amir Saab a copy. I sent a copy to him, and I kept another copy to myself. When he read it, he said he felt too happy that he's still alive witnessing this thing, because this place is it was a jungle. Even from the name Ojokoro, a land where cowards don't farm. Yes, that's a land where cowards do not farm. So it was really a jungle. And when we started in 1977, a piece of land, a plot of land cost only 2005. 2005. You can see, I'm just giving you means of writing, what you can write to benefit people. It was just 2005. It was published in the Truth. If anybody sells a plot of land for you, 30 million here and now, is either that person has problem and he needs money immediately, or he wants to exploit, he wants to overbuy because on the road here, any plot of land, 120 by 60 will cost nothing less than 50 million. So you can see how time creates rooms for writers that people want to know. Well, if you tell somebody that we were to buy land here, Hudam, we even appeal to Amir, let two of us take a plot of land and pay 2005. We couldn't get it 2005. So, so these are the things that when you think about all these things, it in fact, when I read some books of the Jamaat, it gives me a lot of inspirations. So I think we should work on what Mr. Ibrahim Matadu has just advised now, and may Allah continue to help us. Maybe I will also have time to publish some of the things I have in my archive, just like Al Hafiz Alaka did. It's like he bailed the cat, not minding what happens, and whatever errors must have been in that publication, he must have corrected it now, because you don't correct what you don't have. 1,000 miles journey starts with just one step. If you don't take that one step, you may continue to say, I will do it, and you never do it. So may God continue to assist us. So we thank Mr. Ibrahim very well that from the UK, I know he's not alone there. Many of them will always be interested in whatever goes on here. So do you have any other person who wants to? Okay.
Yes, Brother Badruddin Abdulaziz wrote 2 questions in the group chat, and
yes,
the questions are directed to the first lecturer. The first question is, how do you define a quality article in today's digital publishing landscape, especially with the rise of AI-generated content?
I hope Mr. Mustafa Adeton is still on call.
Yeah, he is.
Uh-huh.
That's the first one. Then the second one.
You can take note of that question. So let's see what happens. What's the second one?
The second one is, how do you balance SEO optimization with maintaining authenticity reader-friendly content? How do you balance SEO optimization with maintaining authenticity reader-friendly content?
Are you going to take those questions first before we listen to another one? Mr.
Yeah, okay. I think I should
Yes,
take that, or I don't know the pattern you wanted to go. If you want to pick out the...
Yes, please take them before we take another one. So whatever times I permit us to take again, they will take.
Okay, so the first question is how do we define a quality article in today's digital publishing landscape, especially with the rise of AI-generated content? I think I mentioned that towards the end of my presentation. Okay, we can use AI, but for limited use, in such that we only use AI to edit our work, and then probably we want to break our work together just to rub minds with AI, share idea, and then bring our works into structures. But the way we define quality is that is your voice being resonated in the article. When AI writes, it writes in a generic form, like just bringing ideas generically. But what distinguishes your work from what AI will bring is the quality and then the nuances you are bringing into it. From your own perspective, the way you feel, the way you view things, the way you want to express it, let your originality reflect in your work. No matter the noise on the digital space, no matter the amount of publication we can have today, people using AI, once you are pushing out your voice will always choose, and it will distinguish you from just a generic AI-generated content. So now we can use AI to edit, to polish our work, but we should be mindful of not letting AI speak for us. We should speak for it while modifying what we've spoken into it. So now the way we can get quality, just like I've said, is that ensure you are voicing your intention. That's just the only way. So then, and then the second question is, how do we balance SEO optimization and maintaining authentic, reader-friendly content? Well, I'm not into blogging. This is more about blogging, so I might not be able to do justice to this very well. So it's more about blogging, but it still falls on the social media or digital platform. Now there are lots of noise. Even content that are irrelevant and that are not useful are even more louder than the useful ones. So and then the SEO you're talking about, it keeps changing every time. Those who control it, they keep changing the goalpost every time here and there, and then for people to keep running after them and then to keep doing what they want them to do. So to balance that, just like I said, I'm not a blogger and I might not be able to do justice to. So I would prefer not to talk on this because I do not really do much about SEO. Assalamu alaikum.
Well, I hope the questioner will have gotten one of two things. It depends. Everybody has his own way of maybe comprehending issues. And when you talk of originality, in fact, there's nobody who's original. Everybody builds on somebody's work. But your originality depends on how perfectly you are able to build on somebody's idea. So that is where originality comes in, because nothing new in the world, but idea can be new from individual to individual. So I think, do we have another person? Oh, yes.
Yes, I have a question myself. Still to Brother Dayton. During your presentation, you spoke about using direct and short words, and then you brought an example of talking about tabligh. I think you showed a particular sentence, then it was written in a short form in that sentence. That first sentence was talking about the fact that people do not go out for tabligh because they are busy, and then maybe they could not speak to people outside. Then the other one that is shorter just like summarize it to be that people do not go for tabligh because they are busy. So I was thinking that, of course, it is understandable that we should use direct words, but at the same time, is it not removing some substance from what we are trying to project? Because that second paragraph that was trying to summarize it kind of removed the part that there are some people who might not be able to face people and speak, especially about their beliefs. There are people like that. So that one kind of removed the substance that that part was trying to say. So how do we balance writing directly or short words with not removing the substance or some very important parts of what we are trying to write? Thank you.
I think you got the question.
Yes,
Mr.
yes,
Adekan?
yes, I
Okay.
did. Right,
Okay.
Jazakumullah khairan. So what I was emphasizing there is that we should vary our reading. We should mix long expressions with short ones. We should avoid consistently using short sentences all through or using long sentences all through. We should mix them together. Now, the example you gave, let me read from that paragraph. What I have there is that by using social media, people from far and near get the message of the promised Messiah, and we become part of the fulfillment of the prophecy of taking his message to every corner of the earth. That is the long sentence. Then the shorter one now comes, a prophecy built on tabligh. So I gave that example because I intentionally put that short sentence there to show, okay, what I'm talking about, the fulfilling that prophecy is built on tabligh itself. So if you are afraid of not going for tabligh, you can be part of this fulfillment by using social media to do the little you can do in your own space. So now mixing long and short sentences depends on what you're expressing. Like I said when I was talking about the editing, if a sentence is not passing any, is passing and you think it is not doing justice to that message, you can expand it. It is allowed. This sentence is short, but it's not doing justice to what you have in your mind. It is your own work. You know what you are pushing out. You can expand it. But if there are words that are redundant there, that are not doing anything, they are just eating up space, and you feel this word is not serving any purpose, normally when you edit, you have to remove those words to save your reader's time. I think that answers your question.
Yeah, somehow,
Yes, sir.
let me just give an example. The way I understood it, because immediately he said it, my mind went to somebody. We used to have an old person somewhere in the north, in the east. Sometimes he was not that knowledgeable, but he was very, very active in tabligh. Anytime he met people and he wanted to say, "Promise have come, promise has come." That was all he would tell you. So if you ask any question, he will give you the address of the mosque. So at least he had conveyed the message. You have received it. If you want to know more, go to this place. He has done his bit. So if he had wanted to explain, he might end up confusing his audience rather than convincing them. So I think what he has said depends on the situation and the audience we are dealing with, because audience sometimes determines the way you talk. So I read something from Ashrat Alwat Masih Rabi Rahimahullah about principle of effective preaching. He said some people will not watch their audience. Some people don't have time. You want to convey the message to them, they don't have time. If you want to start explaining the prophecy that led to the emergence of the Prophet and the fulfillment, they won't get anything. But like he said, just go straight, and that's what we call inverted pyramid in writing. Inverted pyramid. When you start explaining before you go to the point, people may lose interest. But Nigeria will be better. Nigeria will be better. They will look at you. Nigeria will be better. What gives you that impression? Some people will say, "Are you still in Nigeria?" Then you will be able to. But if you say, in those days, 10 kobo was, 65 kobo was £1, the dollar was. If you start that way, that's story. That's just a nice story. But if you invert the pyramid, people will take interest. I think that is what is. I don't know whether maybe I have spoken your voice.
Yes, Jazakumullah khairan, sir. Yes, sir.
All right, Bra Mutajo said he has an addition. You can go ahead, sir.
Yes, Bra Ibrahim.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam.
So I was hoping I can add something to the answer on search engine optimization. I would assume the questioner is hoping to emphasize on the visibility of our authentic writing. So what happens is when you go online to search for anything, people do pay Google so that Google will put their work at the top of the search results. So when you search for any topic, people do pay money that whatever they have written about that topic is one of the first things you will see. But if you can't pay to get your work visible, how then can you do it? And I think in the question, there's an answer to be authentic. However, one of the ways we do it is if you have the time, you write about what is topical and what is, like Uncle was just saying, Nigeria will be better. Everybody wants to know about how that's a possibility. So if you want to increase your visibility, if you want, for example, you've written an article about Tabligh and you want it to be visible and you cannot pay to optimize the search engine results, you can use very, catchy phrases. Of course, number one thing is to be authentic. That can be rolled out. But to now go with the flow, if people have done this trick and it works. So they know people are discussing, for example, any political agitation in the country, and that is the topic, that is in their topic. Once that is in their topic, even search engine, results will show it because it's trending. So I think I hope I have made some point there, but you can increase the visibility of your work by being authentic and by following the trend, make your topic catchy. Like I think the first speaker also said, get your topic from ideas that haunt you, that frightens you. If it is catchy to you, it is most likely one or two other people will find it catchy, and then of course you can go from there to increase your visibility of your work.
Yes, do you have any other person online?
Okay, we have a question from one of our sisters.
Okay.
Okay, so sister writes, how do one build consistency in writing? Sometimes I can go days without writing, and whenever I felt like is as a result of triggers within the social environment, and I will be done in like 45 minutes. But there is no consistency at all. Is it a good trait for someone aspiring to write good articles someday? I think Braditon, that question is for you. Do you get it? Consistency.
Yeah,
how do you build consistency?
Yeah, I do. Just like every other endeavor that requires consistency, consistency is built the same way. Just keep doing it. Like no matter how bad it is, just try to do something. Like, okay, you want to be a good writer, can make it a duty to write. Okay, maybe you have yourself, I must write 200 words every day. No matter how bad the day is, ensure you write that 200 words. So if you write every day, you could write badly on some days, you could write very good on some days. When you have time to go back to it, you see, oh, I've done this, it's too bad for my standard. You can correct it. But the only way is to be disciplined. Okay, no matter what it is, I must write at least 100 words, 200 words, this number of words every day. You can give yourself, okay, maybe you are very poor and you're lazy at writing. Okay, let me start writing at least 100 words a day. I have this topic, let me write 100 words on it. So once you do it every day, even if you cannot do it every day, you can make it maybe once on every other day, or maybe once a week, or maybe once in 2 days. I must write at least 100 words, 200 words, 300 words. So like that, gradually you keep getting into it, and then you write more and more, and then you begin to also see some areas of improvement in your personal writing. However, just writing won't make you a better writer. Once you write, you read work of other people that you've seen that these people write well. I love the approach of this person to this issue. I love the way this person writes. Read their work as well. Look at your own work. Is it meeting the style or getting close to that standard? Don't just believe in what you're writing alone. Write your own. Look at what others have written. See how you can make your own better. See how you can get a version of yours from what they've done. That's how to be a better writer. So you have to keep writing every day. No matter how bad the day is, just ensure your consistency is there and your discipline is there. 50 words, 100 words, 200 words, 300 words every day. It makes you a better writer one day.
I think consistency also comes out of self-confidence. If somebody is self-confident, consistency will come in. Like a scholar said, he said, the quickest way to acquire self-confidence is to start doing that thing you are afraid of doing. You are afraid of doing it because I don't want to be mocked at. I don't want to be seen as being inferior. You are afraid. Just start it. Once you start it, without minding what people say. Otherwise, if you want to mind what people say, you won't do anything, because there is nothing you do that we will not talk. There is nothing you do. You can only avoid criticism if you do nothing, say nothing, and you are nothing. But if you want to do something, you want to say something, and you want to be something, you will not be afraid of criticism. I once wrote a poem sometimes which were published in those days. I love my enemies. I hate my friends. So that title, the title enough. How can you love your enemies? How can you hate your friends? Because my friends will always cover my my faults. They don't want to offend me. Whereas my enemies will not say anything good in me. As a result of that, I will continue to improve on whatever I'm doing. So my enemies help me more than my friends. So it's one of those things that that builds self-confidence and consistency. I think maybe have I spoken at all? Do we have another person?
I think that is what we have here. But I want to ask Brother Ibrahim Sulaiman, that do you think everybody can be a poet? Can everybody write poem? Anybody?
Personally, I think everyone is a poet. It's just when they decide to write their poem.
Yes, assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. So basically, my question is being directed to Brother Ibrahim Sulaiman as well. So I have it here written. Okay, sorry. So I have it here written as sometimes when a writer or a poet actually writes, so there are some emotions, right, that are basically too heavy to express or to push out. So how do you decide to which emotions actually, or which thoughts wanting to send out or push out to the readers or who are actually intended to read it? Jazakumullah.
So if I get you very well, you said there are some emotions that are heavy to express, right? That's how could they be expressed? So personally, I don't know what such emotions are heavy to express. I do not know really, because I have written about virtually everything I have ever felt. So I don't know if there are, but however, on a general note, if there's something being maybe evasive, maybe that is what is meant by the heaviness, because there are times when there's something I'm feeling, but it's evading me. It's not coming exactly how I would have loved to put it down. So maybe that might be the heavy, but I do not know exactly what emotions could be heavy. But there are times when I feel like I'm feeling this thing, but how do I put it down? It's not coming very easily. So what I do personally is I do not fret over it. I first put the elements of that thing that I'm feeling, that emotion, I put it down. I write them down. Take notes. This is just something I do for very little amount of emotion. Most times, once it comes, I just write them down. At times it's very raw, at times it's not, at times it's coated, sometimes it's not. But in this case, I put them down exactly how I feel. Then I ask myself, which different ways can this emotion go? Okay, could go this way, could go that way, could go this way. Then each way could build into different stanzas. And before you know it, you have described that emotion in 2, 3, 4 different ways in a single poem. And if you can further explore it, one stanza could turn into one poem, another stanza, another poem, and you could be writing a single expression in 3, 4, 5 emotions or poems rather. You could be writing one thing in 4, 5 poems with different ideas and different directions. So I don't know if that says anything close to what the question would need, but I think that's it.
Yes, it does. Jazakumullah.
Well, if there are no other contributors or questions to
Assalamualaikum.
Alaikum salam.
This is Mahir Similawal.
Yes,
Hello,
yes.
can you hear me, sir?
Yes, go ahead.
Okay, so I just feel like contributing to a point, especially to the person that asked about search engine. So I know little about how this thing works. So there's a way that when you are writing, there's a way you can make your works easily for Google to recognize your work. And when people are looking for something on Google, it will rank your work. At times when you are using Google, for example, maybe you want to learn for the first time how to make bread. By the time you type on Google, how can I make, you will see Google by itself. It's going to show you, send some questions down, kind of drop down many questions, like I think 10 there about. They will give you options or what you are looking for. Maybe how to make chocolate bread, how to make vanilla bread, how to make sardines bread. So now, if it comes to your writing, especially your title, and then your title, very important. When you are writing your title, let your title kind of be easy for Google to pick up. So if you are writing something and you like yesterday when the president changed some of the head of security, you are going to be searching for that. So if you are writing regarding that content issue, you can easily pick what people are going to easily search for on Google and include it into your headings. So if you are saying, okay, the promised Messiah has come, many people may not know much about the promised Messiah. So when you are choosing your title, let that message that is going to grab people's mind to search on Google. So by the time they type that clear message, Google is going to pick it up. And if you've written something regarding that, Google is going to rank your work and make it more clickable, then direct you to your page, which you now converts. So that is little I just wish to share. Jazakallah.
Jazakumullah, that's a very good contribution. I think we will also add that to our to our knowledge and experience also, because yes, okay.
I have one question from SS Aminu. He said, "What advice do you have for one that mainly write for self?" I don't really get that, but I felt like maybe he's talking about maybe writes and doesn't publish. Maybe that's what he's saying. That what advice do our facilitator have for people who do such? Then this is for poetry. This Abdul Rashid Anima Shaun asked, are rhymes compulsory in poetry, especially in the end of each line? That is his own question. So, Bariton, can you please take that first? What advice do you have for someone writing for self. So
Yeah, so the only advice I would say will go in the direction of the way you see the question. So it's probably someone who writes and doesn't publish or believes. It could be from two ways. Maybe you feel like your work is not worthy of reading to people, so that could be one reason you're not publishing. Maybe you feel like you don't have a platform where you can publish on. But if it's about platform, MASQ is a platform you can publish on, and then some other platforms outside that you can publish. So if it's about the first point that I mentioned, maybe you feel like, what will people think, or how will people read this work? Well, the reality is that if anything captures your interest, and then you are writing on it, it's that same thing is bothering other people as well. So you should not have the fear that when people read it, once it captures your interest, there are other people in your shoe as well who need solution to that thing that you're writing about. So you shouldn't be afraid of pushing it out. So once you write, it's an effort. Let the effort be known to people. Push it out. Publish your work. Push it on social media. Publish on platforms like MASQ, The Truth, Review of Religion. Publish. They let people read. Then you know that, okay, what you are writing, people are also gaining from it. So just like I said, it could be from two ways. Maybe you do not know a platform where to publish. There are platforms, many of them. But if you are feeling like, oh, people will not read, or what will people say? No. That thing you are solving with your writing, people need that solution outside there. Let them also get the problem solved from your writing. Jazakumullah khairan.
About the project,
Brother Sulaiman, about are rhymes compulsory in poetry, especially at the end of each line?
No, they are not. They are just a form of mechanics used in specific kind of poems, so they are not.
I think that simple answer does it. So do we have any other person online?
And someone asked, can we have some recommended e-books, e-libraries for those people who want to build on their writing skills?
Well, I don't know, but even if it is Al-Islam, if you go on Al-Islam, the e-library there, there are a lot of books that are free. They are free.
I think he's asking about books that can teach writing. That's what he's saying. Books for those people who want to build on their writing skills. Maybe that's what they like.
You can get a lot of books on theory of writing. Theory of writing.
I think that's what the person is asking.
Practicalizing it depends on your passion. You must have passion for writing. You must have flair for writing. So no matter what theory is taught to you, if you don't have passion for it, it will just be what it is, ordinary theory. There are books. It's not just one book that will be recommended to you. If you read this one, you'll be able to write. No, there are a lot of books that can read. But putting it to practice is the real challenge for so many people. Some people have the idea, like Mr. Dayton rightly said. Some people have the idea, but who will listen to my idea? How do I convey it? Of what benefit would be to the public? What do they stand to gain from it? All these questions will be bothering your mind. And all those questions that are bothering your mind, the same thing are bothering other people's mind. So if your own idea is not brought out, then you continue to suffer from internal, whatever you call it. So I think writing, apart from having the skill, the knowledge, also depends on interest, passion, flair for writing. You must have flair for writing first and foremost. Then you start learning how to write. While I was sometimes I was writing, I thought I was writing news. That time it was until I went for training that I now discovered that I was just writing stories. And not news, because there's not a word of difference between news story and stories. And history is even different from stories. Some people know how to write stories, but to put it in historical perspective is another skill. So all these things depends on interest. So if you have interest, you have the knowledge, because where there is will, there's always the way.
So Ibrahim Sulaiman wrote he wrote that there are some libraries, e-libraries that have resources that we can use to improve our literary prowess. Project Gutenberg, Betterly.com, then Century Past. Everybody have access to this in the chat, in the general chat, so we can always check this and use them. Please let us take notes that inshallah tomorrow morning we are going to have an assessment, let me call it an assessment, for all the classes that we are having. So let's take note, because that's going to be one of the criteria for getting a certificate of participation for this workshop. Jazakumullah.
The chairman or the secretary has any announcement for us so that we can round up. It's not necessary we wait until 1 o'clock. Of course, it's just 15 minutes so that the 15 minutes can be used for something, also at least to relax. So do we have any announcement that we want to? Yes, do we have any announcement? Okay.
Okay, anybody
Is
that wants to write about the Jamaat should know
Someone's hand
that
is raised. Brother Nasir Khalil Rahman. I think we've missed
okay.
that person.
Okay, let me just finish this point. So anybody that wants to write about the Jamaat needs to get the resources from the Jamaat's premise source, which is Al-Islam, or any of our physical libraries. So let us please take note of that, not just anything from Google. Please go ahead, Madam Nasir Khalil Rahman.
Assalamu alaikum to the So we were talking earlier on how to make our our writing, be widespread and all this. So there's one thing that Al-Hakam usually do, and that is in regards to looking at the current situation of things to write on. For instance, if someone wants to write about the Islamic perspective on Christmas now, the best time to write that kind of thing will be in December. So if someone write that kind of thing in December, that sort of article, since it is a period where people are, talking about Christmas, thinking about Christmas, celebrating Christmas, that kind of article would, pique the interest of people compared to talking about Christmas in maybe April or maybe June. Only very little interested people are going to read sort of article in those period when that particular thing is not happening. So this is one aspect we can also look at what is currently going on. It might be celebration, it might be even as small as issues going on in our society that will pique the interest of people. So we can write on those kind of things.
So,
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Inshallah, we'll be joining the curtain for this session, hoping to reconvene by 2:20 p.m. inshallah, or when we shall be having the third session that will last till 6:30 p.m. But however, I would like to confirm if we have all agreed to combine our prayers, because I'm sure
there is a space for ASCII prayer in between.
Okay.
Between after that question and answer 3:45 to 4:20. So we have the grace of having a ASCII prayer around that.
Okay, no problem. And if I'm sure the shura will have been done by then.
They must have finished.
The possibility of combining prayers for shura attending.
I left when the last thing was there.
Okay, definitely. So inshallah, we'll take a break after that to go for ASCII prayer and come back for the session 4, inshallah. And tomorrow, inshallah, we'll have the annual conference, which is equally very important for all of us to try and attend. So for those of us who are physically present, who might not be able to go back today, we have a provision for us to stay today. Of course, maybe when we get there, so some of my people here, they are giving some information with respect to the accommodation and the rest. So of course we have accommodation for you. I may not be able to guarantee other things, but I'm sure we have accommodation. So I'm sure we have. So more people can even come. Those who have joined us virtually can decide to come along, to come over here. So be expecting you guys. Well, like the popular. Inshallah. Inshallah. So, like I said, we are expecting more people to join us physically, so that we can also encourage some of our facilitators who will be here physically to facilitate some of these programs. So, Jazakumullah khairan for everybody who have deemed it fit to be part of this engagement. Jazakumullah.
So, on behalf of the Majlis Ansar Sultan Kolam, I want to specially thank the respected Amir Sab for creating time out of no time. He's always very busy, very, very busy. And in fact, like he told us, there was a visitation that he should have went for today. Because of this program, he ditched that program. So we should continue to pray for him, for Allah's guidance and sound health, that he might be able to continue to take the Jamaat from great to greater heights by Allah's grace. Also want to thank the Naib Amir Talim, Admin Nafa, Finance and Admin, for also being part of the program. The General Secretary also, Alhaji Dabar Ailagbe, you should also thank him and everybody who has been part of the program, because no time spent in this type of program that is wasted. Allah will bless it by His grace. So let us, as had been announced, let us still keep faith with the program, the third, fourth session, and tomorrow, which is the conference. Let us also find time. Allah continue to bless and bless us immensely. So let us pray. Please join me in closing prayer. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. آمين. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.
وعليكم السلام ورحمة
الله وبركاته.
Please, we are reconvening by 2:20, inshallah. Please let us ensure that we get back here as soon as possible. Jazakumullah.